What is going on? How y'all doing out there? And welcome to Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you very much. On a Sunday, it is September. It's September. No, it's not September. It's March 26th. And we welcome you all in. Thank you so much, so kindly for coming in on a Sunday. We usually don't do this a whole lot on Sundays. We usually on Fridays and Mondays, but we wanted to come in. A lot of folks were uh, just wanted to say hello and everything from last week, crossing the 1K mark on YouTube. I thank everybody again, as I did Friday. Just thank you so much for your support. Appreciate everyone tuning in to the channel and talking Falcons sports, Falcons rumors, Falcons decisions, Falcons everything. You here with your uncle, so you know you're going to get a big load of that. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank everyone who's on in the Atlanta Bird Gang. Thank you for your uh, support. Thank you for everything else. I appreciate it. Uh, Dreary day out there today, Sunday. Hope everyone is doing fine, man. Maneuvered all the way through church today and thunderstorms all throughout the morning. But we are here and we are live, and we're going to have some fun today, talking a lot about um, what I wanted to do today on a special day. And I've done this before, but I'll do it again, different audience, different time, or whatever. I'd like to create on this Sunday, I would like to create an all Falcons team. And when I say all Falcons team, I'm not talking about last 5 years, last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, entire franchise. I would like to hear everyone's opinion. Now, before you get started, please don't put the whole team in one comment. We'll kind of go by one. We'll go position by position and try to see if we can get a good consensus on what people think. Because quite honestly, I know people are brought up in different eras of your Falcon fanness. Like I was brought up in the 70s, so I might have a few more folks back there that are forgotten. And well, I might put on the team. And then there are some people that only remember the 5 years and will swear to you that Tyler Algier is the best running back we've had in the last 5 years, which could be true as far as the last 5 years. But as far as the whole franchise is concerned, uh, just trying to put that together and see where we land as far as Falcon fans. Who do we think's the best? Who do we think belongs on that list? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have some fun. And while I'm having fun, I'm going to do, because this is my platform, so I want to have fun over here today. Also on this list, since we're doing all-time Atlanta fans, I would like to know, tell me your tell me your decade of the best music since you've been alive. And I know some of you can't go back that far, but give me like your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, and we might grab a couple of samples of what people like. I'm always interested to see, because the age variation in the Falcon groups are very strange. I thought for a minute that it would only be people in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that. But I like the fact that the young folks are in here trying to represent their fandom as well. And I love it. Good job with everybody doing that. And with that, we're going to go right into the comments. And I see a lot of you are already in here. Run by real quick. Brother Kenny is in the house. First one on tap. Uncle Steve, congrats, my brother, on 1K. Everyone keep pushing the like button, sharing and subscribing for my brother to reach 2K next. And also help Southern Silk get that platinum award on YouTube. I'm hoping that's something that we can get rolling pretty soon. Maybe parts of Southern Silk will come in here in a little bit. Brother D in the house. D Sloan, what's going on, Unc? How you doing? Congratulations again on your 1K success. Keep putting that out. Great content. Thank you, sir. Brother Winston is in the house as always. Congratulations on 1,000 subscriber grind. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Francis Washington, how you doing? Always great to see you in the house. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Devontae, my brother Devontae, what's going on, man? Congratulations. What's up, Unc? Lisa Shepherd is in the house. How are you? Happy 1K subs. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. And y'all make sure y'all check Lisa out on Blog and Dirty. She's one of the writers now. Please support her and please check that out. My brother Todrick's in the house. What's going on? Congratulations. Now, if only Ritter can make you eat your words, it will be the future for us. That will make my day. Todrick, brother, I welcome that challenge anytime, man. I hope he really does. Because if I'm eating my words, that means we're being successful. And that's the biggest thing out of all of it. Robert, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Congratulations. Nacho in the house. What's going on, Nacho? Good to see you, man. Says congratulations on for the 1,000 subscribers. Greetings from Chile to the south of the world and rise up this year. Thank you so much, sir. And I always see you in there and all of my buddies in their shows as well. Thank you so much. Speaking of which, one of the guys that I rock with big time up here, he used to be known as Smitty. Now he's big time. He is superhero Smitty. What is going on, brother?
What's up? What's the deal, man?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out superhero, man. You are the man. You are the Captain America. You are the leader of the Avengers. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, I'm just chilling on a Sunday, man. I'm out and about, man, but I had to stop through and show you some love, man. You know how we rock.
I appreciate that, brother. And y'all already know the face, you know the voice, you know the status. Brother Smitty is one of the top content creators out there, one of the guys who put me on a lot of game over the last year or so and have been very supportive of me, and I'm just super supportive of what he does. For those of you who don't know, the few of you that don't know, please show him some love. He has a show that he does on Tuesday with this other little character right here who just came from Dunkin' Donuts. I can smell the coffee now. Oh, I can smell it from out here. This is, yeah, see, I don't lie. I don't lie. Brother Alberto's in the house. What's going on, my friend?
Definitely. Gentlemen, how are you today, man? On this beautiful Sunday, man.
Didn't know where you are. You're up there. Wait a minute. What's the weather like up there, just out of curiosity?
We're in high 55s right now, so it's comfortable. It's okay.
But it's clear, right?
It's clear. It's sunny. It's sunny. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So everywhere else is raining cats and dogs.
Dang.
And I know, Smitty, you had to maneuver through some stuff, I'm sure. Now, is it clear now, though? It's clear now, though, right?
Still a little dark out here, man, but a little warm at the same time. It's probably about 75 degrees.
Yeah,
man.
I figure as much, man. How you been, Alberto, man? You've been under the weather, man.
Yeah,
battling things. Talk to me.
Man, crazy, man. But I'm good, man. Definitely trending in the right direction, man. It's just that flu season. We've been masked up for so long, man. Woof, man. Oh, it hit me hard, man. It hit me hard, brother. But I'm good, man. Thank God, man.
Sometimes I know, when those colds hit you, when the things hit you, they hit you in certain ways, but you look healthy. You look like you're ready to roll.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to talk today, and I wanted to set up the all-time Falcons franchise team, and the reason why I thought it was significant, and since we're doing milestones today, and I'm appreciative of all of that.
Absolutely.
We always talk about who's the best running back in the Falcons franchise, who's the best wide receiver, who's the best edge rusher. Probably not figure out. So when we start talking about stuff like that, do you guys find it hard to make that team when somebody asks you, hey, who's your all-time running back, all-time wide receiver? Is it hard, or do you have a lot of struggles depending on what position it is?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I started becoming a fan in 1998. So I've seen some great players come and go, of course. some guys that come out that jump right out to me is Todd McClure on the offensive line, Bob Whitfield on the offensive line, of course, Rod Coleman, defensive tackle, Patrick Kearney, things like that. Those to me are like the pillars for me right now, as far as like, former Falcon players that, drew me even more to the team, watching their style of play as I was coming and becoming a fan. So that's where I go for that. I can't speak on like, earlier years, like 80s, 90s, or, earlier 90s, because truth be told, I started coming along a little bit too late. But those guys for me right now would be the ones that are like, oh man, if I have to look back in history, I have to, signify those guys there. Also, Roddy White, can't forget about him. Players like that, man. So for me, it wouldn't be that hard. It wouldn't be that much of a struggle to go ahead and put like a Mount Rushmore, if you want to call it that, of players.
And that's what we're going to do today, man. We're just going to have some fun with that. Smitty, what about you, man? Who's a couple of the first people you think about on that list? We're going to go position by position, but just when you start thinking about that.
Well, I'm an old head, man. I'm from the old days. But right off the top of my head, I would say, I'll be honest, man. I say the first two running backs that I ever saw play, and that was Jill Reed and William Andrews. Right off the top of my head, but I put up a Mount Rushmore, top 4 Falcons all the time. That was very interesting. But the players of today, you have two current Falcons that could be in that top 10. They're former Falcons, and that's Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. So it depends on what era you watched. What's your criteria for that? And it could just go on and on, man. But it's not tough because everybody has their own idea of what they think the all-time list should look like. So it's not hard at all, man.
All right, we're gonna start this off here in a couple of seconds. Make a couple of more acknowledgments out here at Atlanta Bird Game. What's going on, y'all? Please make sure y'all give my brother Tidy a like over there at YouTube. Let's get it hopping, indeed, my friend. Anthony White is in the house. What's going on, sir? Anthony Houston, what's going on, my friend? He's a Saints fan, but we allow him in here every now and then just to get the numbers up. But he's a good guy. JJ the Great, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We also add into this, you guys, and Tidy just reminded me at the very end, we got a bonus question. As we talk about the reunification of Southern Silk on here, what was your decade of music that you just go back to and just say, man, that was just a decade that I don't think they can top that. And I know me and Smitty might go back a little bit earlier than you, Alberto, but what do you think as far as that's concerned?
Oh man, I think back. See, this is the thing, man. I know a lot about soul music and stuff like that. Pops being from Warner Robins and whatnot, so he came to the household, man. Those Mind, Body, and Soul CDs were just always laying around. So I always had to get my hands on that, put it in, and just tune out. So for me, 70s and 80s, that's like for me, like the pinnacle, so to say, for soul music. All the greats, the Chi-Lites, the Al Greens, Anita Baker, all the prevalent ones, man. So for me, it'd be that genre right there, that era.
See, you
probably like 80s.
Mentioned Stevie Wonder.
I
hate the fact that you jumped to the Chi-Lites over Stevie Wonder, which kind of scares me a little bit.
No, in no particular order, but he's definitely on there, man. He's most definitely on there.
I'm just messing with you. Hey,
no,
look,
it's all good.
I'm in the same boat. And don't get me wrong, because there is a lot of good stuff I've enjoyed over the last decade or so, but I tend to lean to the 70s and 80s as well. I think the 1980s were probably the most diverse decade of music as far as I was concerned. Just the coming up of kind of like new wave and pop just took on a whole new meaning then in the 80s, and it was just diverse. All right, we got somebody else in the chat here. I think this might be Cisco. Oh, wait a minute, not Cisco. It is. I thought it was Cisco. No, that's not. That's our lead singer. That's our lead
No
singer
doubt.
on the mic. Coming here. What's
No doubt. There
going
he
on,
is.
Big Low? How you doing, brother?
What's
What
going
in the
on,
world?
Bo? What in the world, Bo?
What's
Much love
happening?
to you all. Look, look, before we get on here and start cracking those, seriously, congratulations on getting 1,000
Absolutely,
subscribers
man.
on YouTube. That's a huge accomplishment, and that's that positive Atlanta Falcons content creator energy. So congratulations on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother. And I seriously believe it. I think this circle right here, and I'm gonna throw this link out here because I know my brother Tidy is a big part of, and I can't keep saying because I am, and I don't care. So yeah, they can get mad if they want to, but Tidy is a huge part of um, giving me the platform to do these
Mm-hmm.
things I do. So I never forget where I came from, and never forget when it was just me and probably David Starks that would be a one viewer show, and now but everybody started that way.
That's
You had
it.
your day ones that you went through
Oh
these
yeah.
things, and
Oh yeah.
those folks you never forget, and
Right.
I just appreciate them even more because they stuck with you. They still here. The Ricky Bennett's in the world, David Stotts in the world, Michael Lewinsky of the world. Those guys, and just I appreciate them and appreciate you guys as much. I didn't get a chance to ask you, Big Low. We're talking. We're gonna go down the list, and we're gonna make an all-time Falcons list for 2023.
Ooh,
Uh, just out of the just out of the air, when you think great Falcons, what first couple of people come to your mind when you start thinking about the franchise of the Atlanta Falcons?
man, I think great Falcons. First name that comes to my mind is Prime Time.
Mm.
You know, red, black, and white Chevy. Now I'm Ryan Dion. Oh, Deion Sanders.
The Colorado Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Buffalo prime time. But I mean, it's like, like I'm pretty sure like we've all had our favorite guys that didn't necessarily light the world on fire, but we just had a favorite guy. But like as far as all time, like that are synonymous with that old school Falcons logo and the organization. I think about names like Deion Sanders. I think about names like um, the Jamal Andersons of the world. Um, you know, there are just so many players. Jesse Tuggle,
Mm.
you know, even though a lot of people are sore at him in that playoff game, Keith Rooking, he
Mm-hmm.
was an
Oh yeah.
instrumental
Oh yeah.
part
Oh man.
of the, instrumental part for over a decade. So I mean, there's it's a crazy thing, Uncle Steve. It's like a lot of all those names that I mentioned. A lot of those names, it's crazy. Most of them are defensive names.
Right.
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 Because that's what we were known for so long. We were known for a tough, gritty team, and the last 15 years or so, we turned into the pretty Falcons. We going out with eyelash extensions and everything and all kinds of stuff.
They said the eyelash extension, didn't
God damn.
it?
Oh man.
But for a long time, we
Oh
were,
man.
run heavy, play defense, and just win by any means necessary.
And it's funny because it seems like he's about to get back to being that way.
Yeah, yeah.
At least
That's true.
that's the thought. And since you started right there, Big Low, that's actually how I wrote it on my list as I had the list up here. I was starting with the defense of the Atlanta Falcons when you start talking about over the years those players that just come to mind. If you talk about franchise wise, and I'm going to go around and then I end. with myself on each of these positions. At cornerback, you named the name, and I'm going to go back to that in a second after we finish, but I'm going to start with you, Alberto.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerbacks in franchise history. You can only have two. No, I want to hear honorable mentions.
Gotcha.
2 cornerbacks, and we'll go 2 safeties, just to keep it alive.
2 cornerbacks and 2 safety. I'll say Brent Grimes for one.
Ooh.
And I gotta say Ray Buchanan for the other. Safeties, man, I'll take Keon Carpenter. He was intriguing. Late great, God rest his soul.
Yes.
And man, Keon Carpenter. I don't want to say Chris Crocker, but I'm leaning towards him, former Bengal safety. I mean, he was exposed a couple times, but he was a reliable tackler. He was there when we needed him most in some games, and he comes to mind. So Chris Crocker and Keon Carpenter for me, along with Ray Buchanan and Brent Grimes.
That's a pretty good list. And before everyone, as we talked about earlier, we all have different time lines that we have. With Alberto being the young Studley one, and the rest of us being old heads here. His might start a little bit before. If I look at all-time cornerbacks and safety, Big Low, where are you going to start as your 2 franchise leaders?
So on the edge, give me prime time, Deion Sanders. Then give me D'Angelo Hall.
Yes, sir. Okay. Me, Angelo. Okay. Business decision, D'Angelo Hall.
Yes, business decision.
Yeah.
The new cornerback coach, is it the Panthers?
Panthers,
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And then on that back end, I'm going to take y'all back. Let's go with Eugene Robinson.
Boy, oh boy.
Let's go with Eugene Robinson. As long as it's not night before the Super Bowl, we can trust it.
Every day except that day.
Every day except that day. And then, I mean, you know what? It's like, and Alberto, he mentioned a lot of great names, but I'm finna go with Willie Moe.
Willie Moe, absolutely. Tone setter. Oh man, that hit that he put on that Rams player, man. I remember jumping out the seat. I was like, "Oh Jesus, man, that dude's dead, man."
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I know Smith has been burning at the. I know he is sitting there saying to myself, "Why have I not heard Isaiah Oliver's name?" So here you go, Smith. It's your opportunity to go ahead and put your boy Isaiah Oliver in this list.
I know one thing, y'all better have Felipe Franks when y'all start talking about Tiger.
Slash quarterback. Slash quarterback now.
Oh, man.
I'm ready.
Man.
But my 2 cornerbacks, I have to go Deion Sanders and Roland Lawrence. And the reason why I say that, Roland Lawrence doesn't get the recognition that he's one of the best cornerbacks from the mid to late 70s. If I had to go safety, I had to go Scott Case and Williams. I'd rather have my safety knock somebody out cold, cause turnovers, because that's just the way I like to play football.
Some good ones there.
I literally, right here, have my list of, I wrote it on my paper for cornerback, and my cornerback said Roland Lawrence and Deion Sanders.
Wow.
And my safety said Scott Case and William Moe. So Smith is not sitting outside my house. But he just happened to say the same exact one. And I'll go as far as to say Roland Lawrence is the best cornerback to play for the Falcons. And hear me out before Deion people roll off the road and crash.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
can see that.
Roland Lawrence, Roland Lawrence started off right around the birth of the Grits Blitz. And through that time, through the early 80s, our first couple of playoff appearances and stuff, Roland Lawrence led the NFL in interceptions a couple of years.
Yeah.
And does not get to play because our franchise, unfortunately, has not been extremely successful over the years. But when you talk about franchise, it's kind of interesting that they don't put him in that ring of honor. It's a couple of folks in the 70s that I hope they go back and get. But when you start talking about cornerbacks in Atlanta, and he was one of my favorites when I was younger, I gotta admit, coming up. So I'll say him. And as far as we don't need to talk about Dion, we already know. But as far as safety is concerned, it's so interesting that you brought up Scott Case, because a lot of people remember Scott Case from his Dallas at the very end. But Scott Case started knocking folks out when he was here in Atlanta. You weren't going across the middle on Scott Case. And that was probably the rules would be Scott Case will probably be one of the most fine people in the NFL if he played in today.
Hey,
that's dope.
Hey,
that is dope.
Hey,
Man.
if they don't know who Scott Case is, please go back and watch that Houston Oilers game in 1991.
Yeah.
That is all you would need to see.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know, again, it's no slight to the guys now, but man, he was a great safety. Great safety. So I definitely put him on the list.
There were a lot of names out there. I was considering, because I was thinking about Reeves, and then I was thinking about Ray Brown. And, you know,
it's a few.
Yeah,
it's a few. I'm looking at some of the comments on here, and again, appreciate everybody checking in. I see my buddy, my longtime best friend Joseph Evans in the house, saying, "What's happening, brother Steve? Your favorite quarterback is playing right now. He threw an interception on his first pass attempt. He must be talking about somebody from the XFL." As you see, I'm heavily watching at this moment. Out of your Falcon mind, John and Mike in the house. What's going on, fellas? Always glad to have y'all on board. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out. Y'all remind me for the 18th million time. I think they are 8:00 Wednesday.
It's 7 o'clock, I think. 7.
Okay,
it's 7 o'clock Wednesday?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. And like I said, I'm at work most of the time, so I apologize for the day. I know they come on when I'm at work. We put it down. And when brother Larry from the Dixon Way in the house. What's going on, my friend? He says
Dixon
Deion
Way
is my all-time favorite player, which a lot of Winston says Prime and Grimes, then Moore and Case. You know, Brett Grimes, it's so funny to me. Brett Grimes was a bad boy.
Yes, he was.
When he was here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
And just like you start talking about with the draft and stuff, because of his size and stature, people tend to not want to put him in that category. But that little dude, man, his vertical was amazing.
Man, he could jump out of the gym, man.
I'm telling you, boy.
Truth be told, on that out pass New Orleans game, man, when he jumped up and intercepted that Drew Brees pass, oh my God.
Yes,
man.
I mean, homeboy is really good.
Never forget when you locked down Megatron that time.
I was just thinking that.
They started calling him Optimus Grimes after that. Yeah.
Yep, Optimus Grimes. That was the birth of it right there, man.
Dude,
that was
I'm
a good
just
one.
trying to tell y'all, man. That was a different. Out of your Falcon mind comes on and says, "Steve, you behind? My show comes on at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, but
this Wednesday,
8:30 this Wednesday with a guest from the Falcoholic. So everybody, make sure they check out Out of Your Falcon Mind. They will have a guest from the Falcoholic on there. So y'all make sure y'all
great content, man.
Jay Black says Brett Grimes with his big mouth wife. Well, I'm not going to speak ill the man's wife. Might have caused a couple of problems, but I do understand. Let's move on to linebacker, fellas.
A lot of great ones.
Had a whole bunch of them through here. I'm gonna start with Smitty on this one. Smitty, Smitty said I don't want to take that question. Okay, well, I guess we won't start with Smitty. Smitty said, "Forget you, Steve." Big Low, are you up to the task?
Yes.
We'll go. Shoot, I'll
Go
give y'all a
two.
little leeway and give me an honorable mention too, because linebackers there are quite a
Man. So it's like, so it's tough because Chuck Smith, he was on the outside linebacker role
Yeah.
kind of deal,
Yeah.
but he was also playing a little bit of end.
Yes.
So it's kind of tough, but I just love old Chuck.
I'll say this, Lo, for today, I think it's not going to be fair because his success and what people are going to remember for him for today is going to be his work on that D.
Yeah.
So I because he did play the outside linebacker position at one time, but I'll gracefully give him a slash if you want to put him there.
Yeah.
But I think most people predominantly
We remember him as that defensive end. Yeah. I
so
mean,
we'll let you put him in pocket. So give me two more.
Well, I gotta go with the Hammer. From I mean, all the memories that I have, and then what really made me more of a fan of his is whenever I had a chance to talk to him, me and Smitty. We did a show, and he came on, and I'm gonna tell you, man, that dude is. He's just genuinely a good guy. So I mean, I got to go with Jesse the Hammer Tuckle. And as far as that other linebacker, man, there's so many. I mean, you got the Joplo Bartus and
Stop it! Stop it!
What?
Flat top, come on, man.
What?
Oh man. Hey, it is a feel-good story though. Former fullback turned linebacker. So I mean, hey, he carved his way right in. But
hey, that's it.
That's about all he'll get.
But I kind of go with JJ the Great. The Tommy Novus Center. I don't know if y'all hear the commercials all the time. Dan Reeves, the Tommy Novus Center.
That's right.
But man, so it's a tough one. Novus and Keith. I think I'm gonna go Novus.
It's hard because quite honestly, we know Novus was done playing by the time I got into the Falcons. I got into the Falcons in '75, and by the time he was wrapping up by then. But obviously, we see the film, we know the history. They say he was probably one of the best linebackers in the league, but was of course not looked at very good because the Falcons had one winning season. I think he was there when he was with the Falcons. So you can't really go wrong with them. Out of your Falcon mind says Toggle, first jersey I ever owned.
Man,
that's
330. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. JJ, of course, like I said, Toggle and Novus. JJ says Paul Warlow.
Hey, Warlow, you can lead the league in tackles.
Seriously.
Hey,
that's true,
what? Say what we want to say, but since he stole Alberto's first choice, Alberto, what was your other two choices that you
Duke
had?
Riley.
Duke Riley. I'm here, baby. I'm here, baby.
Man.
I'm here.
No, man. Never will make the list or the cut in any era, man. But for me, I would have to say I like Michael Boley. And what I like to call the Foye Olukun of the 2010 Stephen Nicholas, man.
Stephen Nicholas.
Yep, he was
man,
another
go get
one.
you a pop, man. Get you a soda.
Hey, man.
Oh man, yes sir, man. Definitely.
Stephen
Man. So
Nicholas is pretty good.
Those two for me.
He was pretty good. Man, Jesse Toggle was automatic.
Yeah.
I think when you start talking about who you've seen. But I'm going to tell you somebody, and again, I'm showing my age or whatever. But boy, that grit splits wouldn't be if Buddy Curry wasn't in the middle of that linebacker core. And I'm trying to tell y'all,
Man.
He patrolled that defense so nicely back then. And it's always funny. You remember, and I see Alberto, you doing that too. And you were saying your fandom started in the late 90s.
Right.
So I see you grabbing those first ones that you remember.
Yes.
And those first guys that made you fans.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, as much as everyone sees me holding flags for quarterbacks, I grew up in the formation of that grit blitz defense with Roland Barnes and Buddy Curry and Joel Williams and all the guys that were in that particular defense starting. So you're going to hear a lot of people from that era when it comes to me. And I dare anybody who was a fan back then to go back and tell me where you didn't see Buddy Curry and Joel Williams out there patrolling the middle and taking care of business at the linebacker position, man. I mean, it was a great. I can't. For everyone that always talks about the defense these days, man, I wish y'all could. We had a defense, folks.
Yeah.
Trust me, believe it or not.
Oh, I remember that.
We definitely had a defense here in Atlanta when it comes to that. I see some other people coming there. RJ says Jesse. Oh, that's back at linebacker. Anthony says Jesse Togel and Greg Brazina. I forgot about Greg Brazina. Greg Brazina was pretty good.
He was a baller.
Winston says Tommy Nobus, Jesse Togel, and Keith Brooking. Does Keith Brooking get a big load? The Arizona game seriously tainted his legacy here.
It sure did.
But is it fair? Is it fair, Big Low?
It's not fair. That man dedicated how many years? Over a decade.
He was a rookie to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was his rookie year in '98.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, so it's like
the first year of Matt Ryan.
Yeah, so he was already linebacker for 10 plus years with that Atlanta. So he did his work.
Yeah, it's like all of that just to be negated. I mean, that man gave his blood, sweat, and tears, and for all of that to be negated by one play, one lapse in judgment, it's like you can't do that. Come on, you can't do that.
They tell me all the time, Low, life ain't fair.
It ain't fair. You're right now. You're right.
Life ain't fair. What's up, Dondre? How you doing, brother? Thank you for coming in. Our brother Wallace is in the house, and Wallace brings up a name that's a back burner name, Sean Witherspoon. Oh, man. And a casualty of the annual injury. But I'm telling you, when he was healthy,
top 5 linebacker in the league.
There was something going on with Missouri athletes coming to Atlanta because between him and William Moore, who I noticed nobody named in the safeties. Well, I'm sorry, somebody did name.
Yeah,
you did.
Low did.
But Sean Witherspoon, man, the man who put out RG3.
That was a hit around the world, man.
Man.
What is his legacy?
He took a fine-tooth comb and cleaned that boy.
Yeah. Robert Griffin has never been the same.
He never been the same.
Never the same.
That would be an interesting question to ask him. If you ever got a one-on-one with him, comments after that Sean Witherspoon hit, he might not even remember. Shoot, who knows, man? Because he was a different character after that, man, for sure.
I mean, that's what the first time in history, Uncle Steve, you could hear one man say, you can hear somebody say, "Hey, if you keep on running, this guy, he's gonna spoon you." And like
literally,
it put fear. It put fear in their hearts, Uncle Steve. You're like, "Oh, hey, better be careful. You gonna get spooned." You know.
Man, he was a bad dude, man. He really was, man. It's just too bad that he couldn't stay healthy. Man.
Hey, wait, hold on. As I'm making the hit, I'll be like, huh? Actually, so think about that, y'all. Will you, Sean Witherspoon and Deion Jones
what a
took
tandem.
out 2 of the great scrambling quarterback.
And
And
took
you
him
can
out.
argue changed the trajectory of both of their years,
You had
both
never
of their
lied.
Careers.
Because after Cam got lit up by
By,
Debo,
But
by
yeah,
he wasn't
Debo,
never the
line,
same.
boom. Yep.
that
He
was it.
wasn't never the same. He
That was
took
it.
that knee.
That was it.
It was like, oh,
Oh,
yeah, I ain't
That
never
was
gonna
it.
be the same again.
man.
So, I
That's an
mean,
interesting name, though, to bring up, though. Sean Weatherspoon, though.
Don Witherspoon. You gotta.
I dig it.
And that's. Joseph brings up the same ones I was saying: Buddy Curry, Joel Williams, and Jesse Toggle. And JJ, the same thing. Spoon was good when he was healthy. Let's look at the D line, y'all. It's a position that it's been hard for us to get right. Quite honestly, most of the names that you'll probably see are going to be names from the past when you think about some of the D line players. But I got a couple from years recently, but I'm gonna see where you start, Alberto, with and this one I'm not gonna put a cap on because unfortunately I think our line players have been so far and few
Slim
between.
Pickens.
I'll make it
Pickens,
too
man.
hard to just say two.
Man,
So
for me,
who comes to mind when you think of the D line for the Atlanta Falcons?
when we did ever acquire Rod Coleman from the Raiders, when he came in, man, it was lights out for me, man. The originator as pass rush and defensive tackles was there for me. That was like, I hate to say it, that was my Aaron Donald, so to say. That's you talk about a penetrator. That guy was he lived in the backfield consistently. You know, he was just great for me. I loved watching his D-line work, man. Very unblockable sometimes in some games, man. So it would have to be Rod Coleman for me and Jonathan Babineau. Those are the two that come to the USS Babineau, man.
Yes, sir.
Because after that, we still haven't gotten it right from Babineau on. It's been a struggle to get somebody in to mimic any one of those two guys' style of play, man.
That's true.
That's crazy.
That's true.
That's crazy when you say that, though. I mean, Babineau was super underrated.
Very. Oh man.
At that position because he held it down for a good little while too.
Long time.
Big Low, where are you with these D linemen?
Man, I got so many. I mean, so y'all know I coach defensive line, you know, on the high school level and college level. So it's like,
let me before you go into that, let me ask you a question. Was there any player that you particularly said, being a Falcon fan, that you ever showed tape on and say emulate this cat?
Oh yeah, I mean, I should show tape on Jonathan Abraham all the time.
Can't go wrong.
Especially during that period, whenever he was just wrecking the league.
Man,
I had to show tape on him all the time. You know, he was just so bendy. But I mean, at the same time, he wasn't so bendy. He could run through you or he could run around you, and he had so many different moves. Like nobody could set up for him. You know, if your feet got stuck in the ground, you know,
it was a wrap.
You're gonna get left at the altar. You know, but I mean, I feel like we got to give respect to Claude Humphrey.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, you know,
absolutely.
Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
So you know, you got to give him his respect. The Chuck Smiths of the world.
Yes.
You know, but I mean, I kind of feel like I might be wrong for saying this, but after that performance in the Super Bowl, I feel like you got to put Grady in there.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
With Grady.
No,
I feel
none
like
at
you got to
all.
put Grady in there.
Yeah.
And think about the legs. I mean, I don't want to mess up. We win that Super Bowl.
Oh my
He
God.
might be one of a rare breed of defensive linemen to win the MVP. I know people probably would have been trending for Matt Ryan, but what he did there, unfortunately, will forever be tainted.
Exactly.
Because of how it turned out. He sacked the best quarterback in the history of the game 3 times.
3 times.
In one half.
And it could have been 4 or 5.
Could have been 4 or 5.
It could have been 4 or 5. That's true, man.
I mean, and that will forever be erased. But for that alone, I could see how you would want to put him in that particular list. I know every name we said up here is pretty good. Don't forget about and I think about he had a good year or two, but especially the Super Bowl year, he was unblockable. Travis Hall, when you start thinking about
yeah.
Travis Hall. Yeah.
when he was
That's Smitty's guy.
unbelievable. Really, that
Mhm.
whole line was unbelievable during the
His-
'98 season.
Yeah.
when
His
you think
counterpart there,
about
Brady
what
Smith, too, was
they
another
brought.
guy.
That
Yep.
cat was really good,
Mhm.
and it just makes you long for the days of us having a decent defensive line. Hopefully, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. Hopefully, some of the folks we brought in will come close to being that. RJ says Babineau, Clark, Humphreys, Kearney, Adrian Claiborne.
Adrian Claiborne.
Listen, give credit where credit is due.
That's true.
Claiborne,
He ruined careers.
he was a
off of one
really good
game.
player, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, his best game
That's
ever
the one.
will be tainted because he went up against one of
Man.
Collins Hill's linemen when he
Yep.
played the game against the Falcons, and Dallas had their third string offensive lineman in there. He got six. Was it six? Six.
Yeah, he got
sacks?
6 sacks.
Was it 7 or what?
No, he got 6. Mhm.
Yeah, got 6 sacks that
Yeah,
day.
he would have got 7. That would have tied the record, right?
Man,
Right.
Yep.
7
Yeah,
was
okay.
Derek Thomas, right?
Derek
Yeah.
Thomas.
Derek Thomas. So yeah, that's a good one. Kelly says Abraham and Pat Kearney. That's the name.
Yeah.
that I
Forget about Pat Kearney, man.
Pat Kearney was doing his thing, man. And
He was a bad man.
and we had both of them, and they never played together because it was either
it.
one was hurt. One of the two was always hurt, unfortunately.
Exactly. I'm surprised nobody said nothing about Tack McKenzie. Like all these names that are thrown around, ain't nobody get to the quarterback. Like ain't nobody.
Hey, Alberto, I'm trying to get that little symbol of the Sandman coming out to push him off the stage. Nacho says Troy Bilber. Let me tell y'all something. And I know a lot of people gonna laugh and snicker when you say there was a year or so during the Troy Bierman era.
Yeah.
Troy Bierman was coming off that edge, man.
He was.
You got you. We can laugh and snicker at the wife and all the reality show, whatever. Honestly, I think that kind of messed up his reputation.
It did.
Mhm.
But Troy Bierman was a little go-getter. I'm not gonna ever put him in all time, in my opinion, but he did. He was the man for a quick second.
That's true.
Devontae says Hangman. I'm wondering if he's trying to say Hagelman.
Oh man, Rashid Hagelman. God damn it.
And that's
So much potential, though.
So much potential is right,
my
man.
God.
Lord.
Super Bowl. Because we drafted. He was a 15, right? He was in 15.
He was drafted the same year as Jake
Grady.
Matthews.
And Grady, right? Wasn't Grady in 15?
No, was Grady 15?
Nah,
Yeah, Grady
Grady-
was 2015.
Yeah,
Yeah, Grady was 15. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
that was his rookie year, the Super Bowl year, right?
So
No.
as
15.
15,
Yeah,
right?
him and Vic came in together. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So if you think about the second round lineman between Hagelman, Sanat was fourth. Was he fourth round or third round?
Deidre Sanat was a third rounder.
Third round.
Third. Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Marlon Davidson, second round.
Second.
Yep.
Jalen Collins, wasn't he second round?
Second rounder.
Think about the second rounders we missed on over the last, and as we're going to get into the current status after we finish the trip down memory lane. But man, that's deep.
That's deep.
We've missed out on second rounders pretty regularly in the last decade. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to stay competitive like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of the reasons why people, don't have faith, unfortunately, in past regimes as far as the general manager is concerned. Hopefully that'll switch up. JJ the Great say, y'all making me feel so young.
Oh, man. Speaking of past regime, I think the whole 2018 draft class is going from the Falcons.
See what I'm saying? I mean, dude.
Isaiah Oliver was the last guy, I think.
That's right.
And he bolted to Frisco.
People were talking about that, about Isaiah Oliver, and I defended him. Mm-hmm. And I'll say Isaiah probably bloomed when he was supposed to bloom. Remember in 18, we lost, and I know Grady came back, but Grady, Rico, I think did Trufant get hurt that year? We lost like 4 of the 5 secondary folks by game 2. And they had to throw Isaiah Oliver out there early, and he wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
Now, I know you're supposed to be an NFL player and be ready, but at the same time, I think he got a bad rep. He probably blossomed, and I think he'll do well in San Francisco. I'm not saying all pro, but I think he'll be a good fill-in when you get in there.
He wasn't ready. It's like just like you said, yes, he's a professional NFL player, but hot pockets are supposed to be edible too, right? If you take that joke out the microwave too early, you gonna eat it.
Cold in the middle.
It's cold in the middle. You ain't gonna eat it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You ain't gonna eat it. He just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
Oh man. Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh man.
Let's switch over to the offensive side.
Oh Lord.
And I'll start with the ones that we probably will throw a few names out at, and I'll just go with minus the tight end, the offensive line, and in my day, there was no better tandem than Mike Ken and Jeff Van Note when they were playing together. And that was also during the time when you had the running game just falling out with Andrew Lee and Kane, Daryl Riggs. That was, and those guys stayed here for a long time. And longevity. I think that's how we probably got spoiled with the offensive line play. I think my line begins and ends. I know a lot of people like to put Mud Duck up there. Yeah. Todd McClure is one of the better players in history, which is legit. But Van Note, man,
he's that dude.
Van Note was a bad.
He was that dude.
Definitely an honorable mention to Bill Fralick. And Bill Fralick was a beast, and when he got here, and he was somebody that held down the offensive line for a little bit as well. Lo, when you start thinking about offensive linemen over the years, where does your mind go for this team?
Well, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because, and it's crazy you mentioned a Ring of Honor not a few minutes ago. It's like, it seems like they're just doing it for the people who just been playing here recently.
Right.
Those are the people who like really getting the consideration. But me and Coach Ronan, we were like, if Jay Matthews sticks around for 3 or 4 more years, will he be put in the Ring of Honor?
Consider it. Absolutely. Yeah. He's an Iron Man at that position.
Right.
Yeah. But I got to put Jay Matthews in there. I mean, he's not an all-pro every year, but I mean, I'd be doggone. He's available every game. He's in the top half of the league when it comes to production and everything. I mean, you got to put him. Ken and Van Note, you're definitely right about them, Mark. It's one of those things where those in history, those are the 2 guys. Whenever I think about the standard for the offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons, Van Note, a lot of these younger Thundercats, they go back to 2016 and think about Alex Mack, and he was great.
He was awesome.
And a lot of that goes to the coaching, how well that offensive line played, because Chris Chester, nobody thought he would be as good as he was at that right guard position. Or Schweitzer and all these other
Yeah.
guys. But you know, Van Note, in my eyes, he just kind of he's the. Whenever I think about the center position for the Atlanta Falcons, that's my guy.
It was an automatic.
That's my guy.
Yeah. Van Note was a bad boy, and then I love listening to Van Note in the booth too. When he left, and he got on the Falcons broadcast, and he was pretty colorful on there with those guys. Where are you with that, Berto? Where you going
for me? A tandem that really captivated me was the nasty side, what we used to call him back in the day. That's the Harvey Dahl, Tyson Clabo tandem.
Yeah.
That was it for me, man. That was attitude, grit, grime, all those things balled up in one. Guys that played beyond the whistle, didn't give a damn about you. All your feelings were in your face, rah-rah style. You know what I mean? Helped pave the way for Michael Turner, which a lot of people haven't mentioned. Neither another guy that really came in here and did his thing for us too. So he's another, running back great in my opinion. But for me it has to be those guys, Harvey Dahl and Tyson Clabo, man.
And Kelly mentioned Bob.
Yeah,
mentioned Bob.
I
forgot.
Whitfield.
literally just saw that. I
Yeah.
literally just saw that, and that's definitely a name that
That's an incredible stat, man.
Whitfield was a bad
I apologize, Mr. Bob. If I see you, please don't beat me up.
Yeah. Hey, Jake
Bob,
Matthews, he's up there too. Has he? I don't think he's missed a game for Atlanta.
To my Bob.
No,
Jake
Jake Matthews.
I think he had.
I don't ever think I remember him being
Yeah,
on
I
it.
don't
But
think
his
so.
family was like that.
That's how they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, all of
Yeah.
them. None of them
Bruce,
missed the
his
game.
pops,
They ain't
man.
missed no
Yep.
game.
They were always
Mhm.
available. So
Mhm.
that's probably what made the Matthews family very, prominent as far as
Yeah.
playing ball. Whether it was Clay and his son playing on defense, or Bruce and the rest of the guys, Jake, and playing on the offensive line. I'm telling you, Atlanta Falcons life verifies it. Jake was not missing
okay.
the game. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I never forget when we took him. He was our first round pick, and I
6
was like
overall.
6 overall, and I was like, well,
Mhm.
dang, it's like he doesn't really do anything special. Like
Mhm.
he doesn't jump off the screen.
Right.
But Thomas Dimitrov was like, yeah, he'll be blocking for Matt Ryan for the rest of his career, and he's
He
gonna
wasn't
be.
bullshit, man.
Yeah, and he was right. He was
Mhm.
like, and he's gonna be available. He's like,
Yeah.
he has longevity. I was like, well, and here we are,
I know, man.
2023. You know.
Soon to be blocking for Lamar. I mean, that's what
All
right, Alberto.
Joining us from parts
Oh,
unknown, trying to sneak in here and give his opinion. I know I'm trying to see, where are you? Are you at the bathhouse? Where are you?
Oh man.
I mean, I know you retired now, so I don't know.
Oh,
I'm trying to
man.
figure out where-
Woo, boy, what a good evening, gentlemen.
How are you there, John? What's going on?
At first, before I start giving my opinions about many things, I'd like to congratulate my good friend, Mr. Steve Johnson, for
Absolutely.
reaching a milestone in broadcast history. And like I was telling him a few days ago, it seemed like only yesterday we were down in the basement fussing, arguing, and just doing what was natural, because that's how we met. We met in an office one night. I don't know what I said to him or what he said to me, but it was on like Donkey Kong from then on, because every time we know each other. We went over Falcons business. And, he was on one side of the Matt Ryan situation. I was on the other side, and, you're, hello, sir. And you're familiar with my side of the Matt Ryan situation, and I know you're familiar with Steve's. As far as the Falcons in general, I mean, man, I just want to make sure to let you know, sir, that I appreciate you, and I'm thankful, and I'm grateful that you let me come play in the yard with you, talking about, the bane of our existence, because we create news. My football team creates news out of thin air. It might not be anything going on, but next thing you know, we are going to do something. Something we're going to do that we're going to have to fuss about. And, like I said, and you guys, Southern Silk Lead Vocals, all right. Low Country and Alberto.
Yes, sir.
You guys, hey, man, I'm telling you, this is a king of a gentleman that you've associated yourself with.
Yes, he is.
And
yes,
I mean, cream of the crop. I knew his mom before I knew him, and then I got to meet his other brother and working and whatever. And then, like I said, we just ran into each other in an office. Just talking about football.
Man.
And
yes, sir. That's beautiful.
he had an idea, and me being a radio person that usually calls in on radio and argues with them, I got a good education on basically what was going to happen in a format like this. And guys, I'm telling you, man, if somebody to follow, somebody to bounce ideas off of, someone to respect. I may never reach those heights because I'm just predisposed to arguing all the doggone time. But,
predisposed.
There aren't enough English language words or cuss words to embellish and emphasize the degree of respect I have for this man. And like
That's
I said,
awesome.
you're well deserved, sir. Well deserved where you are. And I know the needle is pointing upwards. Thank you once again, sir.
And again, I'm just going, and I'm not only appreciative of all that. Y'all have no idea because he's absolutely right. We had no reason to meet, but it was at work. And I want to say I was up there in the queues, maybe. And I don't know how the conversation started, but at that time during my drug use, I was defending Matt Ryan, and that was a joke, everybody.
Yep, very so.
Poor thing. Oh, thing.
He came at me so strong at that time. And we've been to so many games together now, but I'm trying to think, was that prior to the NFC champion, the first one, right? That was prior to we had hooked up prior to that NFC championship.
Yeah.
Not the one in 16. I think this one in 12. But you know what it was? He was a Falcon fan. And I don't care if we had a difference. There wasn't another guy that you wanted to be going in the fire with these Falcons. Now, you're going to get some things you might not want to hear about the Falcons, but he's always been, upfront. And I when I say day ones, yeah, he's like day zero, because I said, hey man, let's start doing this online, man. Let's take it downstairs, and we come down to the basement and we take some stuff, and it was like maybe 2 people watching, and we didn't care because we were busy talking about our Falcons, and that's how that stuff starts. So when I say for real, this would be nothing if this man's existence didn't help, man, Don. And you know I appreciate you, brother, as always. If it's somebody that I know, I can always say, hey, let me hit this by you on the Falcon. We'll call each other. I know he retired now, so he might not take my calls as much. But I hit him up for some good Falcons. So I appreciate you so much, my friend, and thank you all as always for your support. I mean, I'm for real, man. Where are you you in Paris?
Well,
where are you?
Ritz Carlton.
See, y'all too deep up in my mix. That's what
I mean, you the one sitting up here in front of the marble wall. I was gonna ask you if you could bring home some of them towels from the Four Seasons.
This is my new home. You didn't like the old one. This is my new home.
Oh man.
Okay. But no. Seriously, I'm in Washington D.C.
Okay.
I got some congressional visits I need to go on. Taking care of some other situations or whatever, and I'm going to try to keep Putin and Biden away from each other. I'm going to do the best I can, but I can't promise anything.
Oh man.
My hand forms into a claw every time they start talking about gas going up. So,
oh boy.
But yeah, and I saw you on, and I said, I wanted to hurry up and wrap up the business that I had this afternoon so I could get on. And I know you guys been on for a while. And I just wanted to make sure that I said what I had to say to you, sir, in person, in your face. So nobody say I'm talking about you behind your back. But yeah, hey man, it's been a heck of a ride. It's been a heck of a ride, man. And the Falcons always provide you the roller coaster, the ride.
Yes, that's
always give you a roller coaster ride on. You don't know what car you're gonna be in, and the only thing that I pray is that I'm always on the front car. So if the man in the front car is throwing up, I don't catch it in the loop.
Now, about Lowe, now he talking all this good stuff, which is cool, but Berto will tell you, I'm about to throw his butt out our seat and he's out there trying to fight referees and then during the game.
He's out there, son.
He's out there. That shows you how much love I got for this man. This is show you. This show you. This man about to get us thrown out the game.
Yep. Oh man, he was hollering at him too, man. He got his attention because he acknowledged us up there.
The referee literally came over, and shook his hand.
Yep, that's the truth.
Man. Now Steve's been going to games for a long time, and we never ran into each other at games prior to me meeting him. But I knew just about every referee that officiated Falcons games, especially Johnny Greer. Johnny Greer, I used to always come to him because I had seats down there at the end zone line, and hey, can you give us a break? Just always said, hey man, can you give us a break this week? John, your team got to play. I said, yeah, I know, but we may not do that today. If you can see where you can help us out just a little bit, please help us out.
Yep. Oh man.
And that was a couple of times. He almost threw me out because one of his referees did not call a touchdown, and I would never forget it. It was Eric Metcalf caught a pass, and the referee was standing at the 10-yard line, and he was supposed to come all the way back to outside of the end zone to see whether he caught the ball. Metcalf caught the ball in front of all of us fans down there, and we're cheering, and the rest of the stadium is cheering because we're seeing it on the jumbotron or whatever, and they didn't award him a touchdown. And man, I had one leg over the rail. I was on my way down there to discuss it with him. John, I'm gonna have to pull you out of here if I come down here on this field. Oh, okay, man. All right, bro. All right. But man, I tell you.
But this is after all of that, he know he coming to a game with me this year. He know he is. But I still put up with it. I put up with it, fellas. I do. I probably more than anything else, I probably deserve an award for that.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Someone else will have to see about that, sir.
Well, my brother, before it's time for you to get your massage, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. and we go.
You're over there hanging with Watson. You let him in on a deal.
Oh man.
Hey John, I told you to stay away from them strip clubs, bro.
Hold on.
A Spitty. Not only a strip on a Sunday, What
the
wrong with
Sunday?
him?
Hey,
That's an exotic dance place.
they got a collection plate too. Think about it.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, for us, for 7 days finish, the 7 day.
Oh, man.
Boy, you crazy.
Man, look here.
This Sunday, the first day of the week for a 7-day event.
Yeah. So Saturday is my quote unquote holy day, whatever. But
Boy.
but man, like I said, I tell you, going back like you guys have been going, there were collections of teams and collections of people, offensive line, defensive line. We've had stars in spots, stars in positions where they were the only persons there. They needed help, but a lot of times we didn't provide them the help in order to make them shine. And we're in this situation now with Grady Jarrett. You got a Grady Jarrett on the team that has been performing at a extremely high level for years, and it's only in spots and in certain times that you will see see him reap the rewards of his labor. Okay.
Yep.
And the thing is that you stuck this man in a 3-4, and you expect for him to do all of these things without help. Then you have a wide receiver, Julio Jones, that can't save the whole team. You had a Roddy White, couldn't save the whole team. You had Jesse Tuggle on defense, couldn't save the whole team, because you can't do these things by yourself. You can't do these things by yourself. You need help. You need an entire team to do that. And my person that I used to always look at was Jamie Dukes. He was undersized.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
He was undersized as a center, but man, I shook that man's hand one time, man. It was just like putting it in a doggone vice grip ply. He was strong. Jamie Dukes was like the country folks say, that was a cop strong joker there. He was just real strong.
Funny story. I used to talk to his mom on Facebook all the time a couple of years back. Tell it like it is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John, are you gonna play along with us, or you next up?
John Pocket's on fire.
I just saw somebody over there with some hot stones over there. I'm trying to see what's going on.
Oh, they jumping them off the 3rd floor.
Yeah, you sure look like you got that chair in the VIP section. I'm just saying.
But look, I'm gonna let you go ahead because you seem too
tied up.
Much in a good place for that. But brother, I appreciate the kind words and everything. Appreciate you, and we're gonna catch up with you on the next go round, my friend.
All right, gentlemen, all of you, take care.
You too, man.
Careful.
All right.
Good talking
with Mr. John.
All right,
man,
safe
brother.
trip back, man.
The massage is ready, Mr. John.
I ain't trying to start no stuff.
Hey, Big Low.
Hey,
I'm kind of offended at your handle right now. Why you just gonna name yourself the lead vocalist? I'm just saying.
I got to defend him on that because he's the one dropping the first of all and all of this with melody, so he can have that.
Oh man.
I thought we all just knew. I thought
All right.
Everybody knew Cisco was.
I can't sing, so I just be the Kirk Franklin of the group.
That's how David Ruffin and Eddie Kendrick started.
I mean, well, look, you gotta remember, Uncle Steve, he is the one that kind of split off on his own and then decided to come back.
You say he went Bobby Brown on us?
He pulled a Bobby.
I said I was coming back.
We didn't find no Johnny Gill, so he fine.
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
Well, look, that's since I got the whole group back in, let's finish off this offense, man, because I was real interested to see a lot of people had some really good.
Y'all did the offensive line already?
We did. Okay, go ahead and catch up with right there, brother, because we were finishing up the offensive line. Go ahead.
Offensive line tough, man, because they've had so much talent there. I look at Bob Whitfield, Todd McClure, who just got put into the Ring of Honor. I mean, man. Like you said, Jamie Dukes. I mean, it's just
I miss
tough.
Jamie Dukes. That was a solid, underrated.
Mike Ken, Jeff Van Note, Bill Fraley. I mean, if they had all those guys at one time, we talking about a Dallas type offensive line.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it just so many. That would be my 5 right there.
And you really think about it, Smitty, as you're talking about, especially the older guys. We didn't have a problem running the ball from the late 70s on to probably the end of the Gerald Riggs.
But
campaign.
You know what the problem was? They tried to get away from power run and go to speed, faster type backs. Because you had John Sellers, Steve Broussard, smaller, faster guys. But what about the pounding backs that got you to be, where you need to be? They just got away from it. And when Jerry Glanville got here, he did the same thing.
Do you blame that on Bill Walsh, though? Because in a certain way, what Frisco was doing with the West Coast
not necessarily
at that time.
I understand, not necessarily, because they had Roger Craig. He was a power back. So
he was just fast.
Then they had a guy down the road they had Dexter Carter, who was a faster guy. Then they picked up a guy like Amp Lee, who was a sort of a speed but more of a power runner. Then you talk about William Floyd, Ricky Waters, who was a dual threat back. So I can't blame them for it because they still stuck to what they knew. Guys that had the ability to make plays. That's all it came down to.
Yeah.
Craig was a good runner. Would you think he was a power runner though?
Which one?
Roger Craig. Think he was a power runner?
Oh yeah, those high running, but he hit you with those knees, you threw.
Yeah, he high stepped quite a bit. I thought most of the time, my recollection of those Joe Montana teams, I used to see Rathman go in and get the big yards.
Yeah.
A lot of times. I'm not saying Craig couldn't go through the middle. I'm saying
he was more of an outside runner.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think that's, and again, he was still solid. Don't get me wrong. Roger Craig was awesome. So I get that. That makes sense. Let's go to tight end, y'all.
Oh my
tight
God.
End for the Atlanta Falcons over the franchise history of this team. I'm going to start with you, Alberto. I'm gonna start with you because I know, and I'm gonna go ahead and before we even go there, no, Felipe won't be on this particular list. We'll make sure that
didn't even cross my mind.
We're gonna put him on the Ring of Honor. We're gonna have
right
him
away
on there. So from a tight end standpoint, what names come to mind?
Mr. Algernon Darius Crumpler is probably the first one that comes to mind. OJ Santiago, and of course Tony G. But
I go back a little bit further than that.
Was the one for
I didn't
me,
mean to cut you off, but Junior Miller was the name that came to my mind first. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Berto.
Oh no, right there, just those two names for me, man. Algie Crumpler. Algie Crumpler. I'm just gonna keep it at Algie Crumpler, man. That was the guy for me, man.
Oh wow.
Tony Gonzalez also, sure, but Algie Crumpler was that guy that kind of started it off. You know what I mean? Yeah. He took that hit from Brian Dawkins, and it was like, all right, cool. You hit me, but I still held on to that ball. So toughness, grit, all of that. You could, he was the man. Algie Crumpler was the guy.
Very popular in the chat. Algie
Very.
Crumpler.
Oh yeah.
Coming up, Liz. Where
he's a fan favorite, man. Fan favorite.
Yeah. Oh, Crumpler was a bad boy. Mm-hmm. What about and think about it too before I Big Low. He was here during that Vic era, where the electric, if Vic kind of ran out there and got lost, he always had Algie Crumpler to go to as that safety net.
Yeah.
For him. Where you at with that low with the tight end position?
Man, I'll tell you one thing. It's like one thing that we got to remember is that, especially during that 2016 season, Matt Ryan, he really got bailed out in a lot of situations, and this offense wouldn't have been what it was going to be without Levine Toilolo. It was.
Yeah, I'm sitting here saying,
ukulele.
Well, you built that up like you finna talk about a Hall of Famer.
Smitty, you know what I was doing when he said,
"He's gonna say
that rookie year." I was trying to think. So in my mind, I'm saying, what am I thinking about?
When he said 2016, I'm thinking like, wait, who the hell did we have in 2016? Hold on.
Austin Hooper was here. That's what I thought he was gonna go with.
Austin Hooper was there, but,
I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, who am I forgetting?
Yep.
Oh man!
You could even say Jacob. You could even say Jacob Tammy. I would have been fine with that.
Jacob Tammy was that guy. Algie Crumpler, Tony Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Got a funny story about OJ Santiago. A lot of people sleep on OJ.
Yeah. OJ.
That year, he was good.
I was at the tailgate this past season, and he was coming through with some of the Falcons reps.
Oh.
And I'm doing my thing, being Big Low Country type, and the Falcon rep was like, "Hey, this is Big Low Country." I didn't know who it was, right? So, I just know it's this big old dude standing here. So I dap him up, and I was finna do the whole, brother dap, one arm, brother dap, bring it in. He put his fist in my chest.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
he put his fist in my chest, like, don't come any closer.
Yeah, like not so fast.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my bad. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So I was like, I just let him go about the business. I like, we don't need to talk no more. So after that, I can't put OJ Santiago on my list. Just for that. Just for that. I ain't gonna lie to you. He stopped me though. He was like, ugh. He stopped me. It was shaking a little bit too, Alberto. It was like that, right? It was shaking.
Oh man, he jammed it right at the line.
Yeah, he jammed me at the line. I was like,
oh man.
So if there's anyone in the chat who knows of OJ Santiago's family or close friends, could you please reach out and please let him know that he didn't mean any harm. He just wanted a it's a bro.
I just want a bro. That's all I want.
Fan moment.
I didn't know who it was. That's the thing. I didn't know who it was.
He was a tall dude too. Right?
Yeah, he a tall dude.
He about 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah. And I'm a big guy.
Right.
And so it's like when I dapped them up because they were like, "This is Big Low," and I was like, "I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna dap them up." And then after they left, I was like, "Hey, who was that?" They're like, "Oh, that was OJ Santiago." I was like, "Oh, damn. My bad."
I got a question though. I'm reading through. I hear what you say, but how did you get in cool with the cheerleaders? I got to hear that story.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah. Who got cool?
Yeah, let's hear that one.
You,
sir.
Where?
You said the cheerleaders told you who he was.
Oh no, it wasn't cheerleaders. It was the Falcons reps. It was some of the Falcons reps.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the cheerleaders. You got to straighten it up.
I am cool with some cheerleaders though.
Well, my cousin used to be a cheerleader. 10 years ago. So
I am cool with some. Shouts out to the ATL cheerleaders.
But another cool tight end man is Reggie Kelly. I met that guy about 6 or 7 years ago, man. We've been friends ever since. Been trying to get him on the show, but he's always busy. So if y'all find some barbecue, Pete's barbecue sauce in the grocery store, it's likely his. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but trust me, it's good because I tried it.
Okay.
But as far as tight ends, man, I know Tony Gonzalez came over from Kansas City, but that would be my pick, man, because I think if Matt Ryan got him the ball just a little bit more, he would have made a bigger presence. He probably would have made Roddy White better. But I had to say Tony G, man, hands down.
Now he went in the Hall of Fame with both teams, right?
Both teams, right?
Okay, man, that's a lot of love to Atlanta because he was here at the back end of his career,
right?
He 5 years here, and he still put up, decent numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gave a really good. If you go back to the Hall of Fame speech, for those of you who didn't, he may have helped Matt Ryan. He gave Matt Ryan such an awesome shout out in that Hall of Fame speech. If you haven't seen it, go back and look. Tony Gonzalez Hall of Fame, and he gave him a lot of love in that Hall of Fame.
I wish he would have stayed at least another year or two, because I think that would have helped Julio a lot too.
Well, remember, he went under. Remember, he left on controversial.
Yeah.
Because he left them hanging with not declaring his retirement until a certain date, and they ended up his cap number ended up going on the
books,
books.
And you remember how he was kind of bashing the brass too, the year before, because he came back to try to make that Super Bowl run, and we were bad. And it was documented how he was going off in the parking lot talking about how the coaches didn't know what they were doing and everything. Yeah, so I mean,
to be honest, I agree with some of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
because we had Roddy White that Super Bowl, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. So the way things are in it with Roddy, I totally agree.
Man.
But the question is, though, do you keep Roddy White, a player who was on the decline, or do you keep the coach that was taking this offense to the next
They
level?
wouldn't have fired the coach. They just would have found a way for them to
Roddy
coexist.
Work with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
You know that.
He could have gave that man a blow pop. He'd have been fine.
Lo, I know you were probably there at the Georgia Dome when I saw that. Was that Indianapolis coming off of the drama between Roddy and Kyle Shanahan, and he threw the 3 straight passes.
3 straight times, yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. No, it was against Washington.
Was it Washington?
It was
Washington.
Yeah, it was
Washington.
at home.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Washington.
No, you're good. Yeah, man.
It was Washington.
It was 3 straight times, though. I remember that.
Yep.
I was like, man, we proving a point, ain't we?
Yeah, he was trying to prove a point.
It was on the news all weekend here.
Yeah.
But it's that's on Matt, though. Matt should have did. He shouldn't put him in that situation.
And then I don't know if y'all remember the very next week he lined up against Peanut Tillman when Peanut Tillman played for the Carolina Panthers, and he cooked Peanut Tillman too.
Yeah.
I think he had his receiving high for the year was 90 yards that year.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this man still got it, man. He still got it. But that was my favorite play. He's my favorite all-time Falcon, Roddy White. So, man, I hate it when his tenure ended, man.
Ironic you should go to that because that's the next position. The next position is wide receiver. So we start talking. We're going to allow, because of the position and because of what it means, especially today, we'll allow 3 on this particular one.
I think we should do 4 because it was so many. I think 4. Because you think about the last 35 years. I mean, the Falcons have had, plenty of good receivers.
I'll give you 4. That'll work. But keep in mind, this is the stuff to break up groups when you start.
It is what it is.
Look.
It's my opinion.
Hey, man, that why, look, City. That why Silk was a trio for about a week. You go stepping on my toes.
No one's bigger than the group.
Hey, you got to put on them steel toe boots and take it like a man.
Nobody's bigger than the group.
But since you got Postman, where your start with you.
I mean, hey, man, the reason why I said it is because the ones at the top of the list, man, you just can't, just go over them. Kelly Stinson, she took the words right out of my mouth. Andre Rison, Julio Jones, Roddy White, and Terrence Mathis, the 4 best receivers in the Atlanta Falcons history, hands down. So she Kelly Stinson, she put mine up there for me.
That's a he.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dude.
Oh, my bad, Kelly. But Kelly took the word right out of my mouth. He was ready. He knew where I was going.
Oh yeah.
Travis, he got another good one.
With all 4 of those he got.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
All right.
You got to think about it. In the early 90s, Andre Rison was right there with Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp when it came to catching the football.
Does the volume of catches make you
No, but
No,
he came to play every
that's
Sunday.
cool.
He
but
came to play every
that
Sunday,
particular
and
offense.
he had Chris Miller, Jerry Rice,
You act like I
had
don't.
Joe Montana, Steve Young. The Packers had Brett Favre back then and Don Mikowski.
Right.
That was much better than Chris Miller and Billy Joe Tolliver. Come on, man.
So, but my point is, in June Jones's offense at that time, they were gonna get the ball. We were going 4 wide and throwing the ball like 70% of the time.
He still
I'm
had
not trying
decent.
to discredit.
He still had decent season in Kansas City and Oakland, so he was still pretty decent.
He was good.
I get the high
But
volume
for
of catches,
Atlanta,
but
for Atlanta,
yeah, he was still good to me. Yeah, he was still one of the best receivers
all
in the
time.
league.
Okay. All right. I hear you. That's your 4. Okay. Talk to me, Big Low.
Kentorez Lopez Jones.
People by the government name.
Man. You said that like you reading the man. You said that like you reading the man eulogy at his funeral.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Kentorez Lopez Jones. No, you gotta go with Roddy White.
Kentorez about 5 times.
Oh shit!
You gotta go with Roddy White.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, you got. Look. You gotta go with Roddy White. You got to. Terrence Mathis.
Mm-hmm.
And that third one. That's the one that kind of. You know what? Just so I don't get in trouble, and this is on YouTube. Uncle Andre, I'm saying Andre Rising because he's a friend of the family. So Andre Rising, I gotta go Andre Rising.
I got you. I hear the love for Bad Moon. I hear it. I'm not gonna.
Why ain't nobody said purely price yet? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
You had me because I was about to drop that one next.
Travis has an interesting out of his foursome. He says,
"Yeah, I saw that. That's what I said earlier. Yeah, that's something to think about."
I was on the line about. I was on the line about Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alberto. Go ahead.
Des White, Ashley Lilly, Paris Price,
Joe Horn.
Argue that. Joe Horn. No, but for me, honestly, it's got to be. I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Brian Finneran for me. Roddy White, Julio Jones, and Mr. Terrence Mathis. Those are my 4.
And I kind of figured why you said Finneran because he stayed around a while.
He was around
Yeah.
for a minute.
Yeah.
JJ said Leonard Hankerson.
Leonard Hankerson. Oh my God.
Cement hand takers.
Yeah.
I didn't see nobody say Floyd Dixon or Stacey Bailey.
Oh,
Stacey Bailey. Somebody did say Nacho
Somebody
said
Stacey Bailey. Yeah,
I laugh at Stacey Bailey. Stacey Bailey had a couple of good years here.
Yeah.
I'll name some names. Quentin McCord, but nobody remembers him.
Now I'm gonna go on this list over here, and this almost has it for me. And that's my buddy. That's my longtime buddy, Joe. I'm down with Julio. I think I would replace Andre Rison with Roddy White. Terrence Mathis was just money every time you go, but I didn't hear one person say Alfred Jenkins. I see Atlanta Falcons life. I take that back. I see him saying it. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you what, and I know we might be dating some of y'all. Alfred Jenkins was a bad boy.
He was legit.
Alfred Jenkins, but Morris Brown,
yeah,
HBCU. Alfred Jenkins, before you could probably argue before.
Yeah, that vertical deep threat. Yeah.
Or Terrence Mathis, I don't think it was a doubt that Jenkins might have been the best receiver in Falcons history. Billy White Shoes, don't get me wrong. Billy White Shoes came at a time that was, he became that security blanket. He was a good receiver. I'm sorry I'd not be able to put him in the top 4. But I do recognize his contribution to the franchise. He was a great, solid player doing, but I'm talking about strictly as a wide receiver. It's hard for you to be an Atlanta Falcons, at least going back to my time. Alfred Jenkins cannot be ignored, man. Alfred Jenkins.
I have him on my top 5 list. He's right at number 5.
Yeah. Jenkins was a bad boy.
It's one more that I watched growing up, and that's Michael Haynes.
Michael Haynes was really
dude was
nice deep ball
a track and field guy. Dude averaged 22 yards a catch and had a 1,000-yard season with just 48 catches.
Wow,
damn,
he was the long ball threat. Tim Dwight, anybody?
I used to call him Forrest Gump because the way he used to run on kickoffs. When Forrest ran through that hole, that's exactly who he looked like.
I call Tim Dwight the sacrificial lamb because he was part of that trade package.
He was for Michael Vick.
Yeah.
And another name brought up in the chat on the other side of Alfred Jenkins during those years was Alfred Jackson. Alfred Jackson caught probably one of the 5 most
the New Orleans catch, right?
Yeah, the Big Ben Wright, which we won in the Superdome. One of the most, in my opinion, one of the 5 greatest moments in Falcons history.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I
Alfred
wasn't even
Jackson
there.
was really solid during that time. That wide receiver argument, and I don't want to make it seem like I don't have any love for Andre Rison. I just think sometimes when you start looking at what the offense is kind of giving you, Andre Rison was bad boy.
I get what you were hitting at because as I look at Warren Moon and he was in that run and shoot, a lot of people will argue, just because he was in a high power offense like that, kind of boosted his stats. Yes. But you go back to his CFL days, he won 2 Grey Cups. You can't argue, that he's just a one-trick pony because that dude could just sling the ball.
Moon can't be argued with because he had to throw the ball. I'm not talking about because Warren Moon was a Hall of Famer, should have been in the league anyway.
Right.
But should have never been in the CFL.
They pulled the who was that? They Lamar Jackson. They pulled a Lamar Jackson on Warren Moon. They wanted him to play wide receiver. He said, "No, I'm gonna play quarterback." Absolutely. Went to the CFL, did just that, showed his behind, then gets back to the NFL, doesn't skip a beat.
For the longest, he was the all-time leader at Washington, at the University of Washington.
Right.
Quarterback for yards before, and then they made him go there. But I guess again, I'm not going to argue that he couldn't be on the list for Andre Rison. I'm just trying to say it's a couple of things that goes against it for me. His longevity here, and again, to me, if you're playing in a wide open offense, that you said it perfectly, the Warren Moon offense. What wide receivers were part of that?
Drew Hill, Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens, and the other one was can't think of his name. It's right at the tip of my head. And I actually seen the picture of him the other day. That's why it came to mind. But they had some weapons down there, man.
So let's think about that particular offense, and I'm just trying to bring it around to my point.
Curtis Duncan in his name.
I bet you each one of those guys had 70 to 80 receptions.
3 of them.
3 of them. Are any of those guys in that? And Drew Hill was a bad boy. Don't get me wrong. Drew Hill.
Yeah, he actually lived here in Atlanta.
Drew Hill's a bad group, Uncle Steve.
Hey man, don't start that. Don't start that. Please don't. Hey, you better cut it out for me. So we make it out of we make it out of a short.
You guys are just thinking about football. I'm thinking Drew Hill the singing group. I know I was thinking the same thing. Flo, don't sit there and bullshit that you want.
Of course I would.
Smitty starting this stuff though. Smitty
Hey.
be throwing out there.
Yeah. He be throwing those
Hard
alley oops.
Hey,
Then he'll run quick. You remember his
Hey,
ball? He put the ball on the tee and just wait for us to come.
I seen Big Low in the background.
Oh, shoot.
He was revving up them fingers, man.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, 5 steps.
I'm gonna stretch y'all wide receiver list to 5, and we'll put Andre Rison. And like I said, I'm not saying Andre Rison wasn't the man. And I get that.
Since we're talking longevity, do you put Michael Haynes in front of Andre Rison?
But was Michael Haynes the primary? And I think that has
always a number 2
as well. I think when you start looking at Rison was a primary, Mathis was a primary, Alfred Jenkins was a primary, and when you start talking about, don't get me wrong, there's you got a Batman, you got a Robin. Alfred Jenkins had Alfred Jackson. Andre Rison had Michael Haynes. Julio had Roddy, and then had Sanu. You have to have a yin to your yang. And that particular, when you start talking about wide receiver, I can't.
Who did Peerless Price have?
Peerless Price had Dustin Mercer. He had Dustin.
It took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, I know now.
Touche, Uncle Steve. Touche.
Oh, man. Oh.
Shoot.
I'm taking this back for real. That year, because it was after the year Mike Vick basically by himself.
Right.
But it took us to the playoffs. And the first thing everybody was saying, oh, man, we need a receiver. Man, it was breaking news. Ooh. Falcons trade for Peerless Price.
A first
He'll come down and he's going to change the game for Michael Vick.
I think I was in the 10th grade. I think I was in the 10th grade when that happened. I saw that, man. I was like, yo, wait a minute. Hold on.
They were acting like Peerless Price was going to be the next coming when they traded for him.
We got finesse.
Did he stay more than 2 years?
It was about 2 years.
2 years.
Right?
Yeah. About
right?
2 years. Yeah.
Be honest, it seemed like 6 months because he didn't play in many games to begin with.
No,
because he got hurt.
Was that a number 1 pick?
It was a number one. It was number one. Oh yeah. Yep. It was. We gave him the 2006 first round pick for him because we acquired him, and I think it was like 05. I mean, no, I'm sorry, 03. We acquired him. If I'm not mistaken.
It was 03 or 04, but it was a first round pick.
Yep. He was at school at University.
Right.
Of you and my sister.
It was 2004 because 2005 we did not have a number 1. We ended up taking Jimmy Williams that draft in the second round.
Yep. The cornerback out of Virginia Tech.
Right.
What a disaster that was.
Vodtech.
I love Vodtech, man, but damn, man.
Yeah.
Man, we talk about bad draft. 2004 to 2007 were awful.
It was tough. It was a hard time.
2003, Kelly.
2003. Okay.
2003.
Yeah,
go ahead, Kelly.
2003 because we made the playoffs in 2002, and we got him the next. Because that was the first thing.
Okay. Right.
What was the boy he kept throwing all the long balls to the
Travis Gaylor.
Yeah.
Trevor Gaylor.
Yep. Travis says, Peerless is the ugly chick we hollered at because she hung with the pretty chick. Eric Bowles. That's right. Because Eric Bowles was balling.
He was that dude.
Hey, man, Eric Mose to me is a borderline Hall of Famer, man. Just go look at his tapes. Yeah, he was a dude. He was that dude.
Yes, sir. He didn't get his love at all.
You don't look the same.
All right, y'all. Let's move to the two last positions in here. Let's move to running back. We get 2. You get 2 running backs. We'll start with you, Lo. 2 running backs that epitomize greatness.
This ain't fair.
I'm telling you,
this ain't fair, man.
Got to do it. 2.
I let logo
get
first.
one.
Cause this man, come
Got to
on.
do two.
So, so that doesn't mean that they're the greatest statistically on the
Doesn't
team.
necessarily have to.
Yeah, they just
This is your list,
Atlanta
man.
Falcons' greatness, right? So I'm going with Andrews and Jamal Anderson.
Mm, it's a
Andrews
strong
and
one.
Jamal Anderson. I wish Anderson could have stayed healthier longer. We could have seen
Right,
what he would have been capable of. But
right.
yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going Andrews and Anderson.
Gotta have two, y'all, not four. I see someone putting four in there.
I'm gonna go.
Give me two.
I'm gonna go Riggs and Turner
Mm,
because I grew up on Riggs when they. Yeah, when I grew up on Riggs, he was the only thing they had at the time.
Yes.
And Michael Turner, when he got here from San Diego,
Yep.
he knew we knew that first game he was that dude. So them are my two. And no disrespect to Jamal Anderson, but like you say, if he would have stayed healthier longer, I think he made a bigger impact. But that one season, that Super Bowl season, after that it was downhill.
It
So
was downhill for sure.
what a season it was.
Yep.
If
Memorable.
you start talking about
yeah, it was magical. Yeah.
next to Matt Ryan's MVP season, you could
Yes.
argue that might have been the best singular offensive performance by Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And
then
he
I
lost
go.
the MVP to
Yeah.
Barry Sanders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another
wait a minute.
running
Or was
back.
that Terrell Davis?
Terrell Davis.
Terrell
98
Davis.
was Terrell
but they
Davis,
played
yeah.
against each other.
Because he won in the Super Bowl
did.
MVP too.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Terrell Davis.
But you gotta
Man.
think about this. You remember in Cincinnati they had the Icky Shuffle.
Yeah, they
Uh,
did.
And it's like people still doing the Dirty Bird.
That-
Like,
That's a fact.
we ain't
oh,
never seen nobody do the Icky Shuffle
Icky,
in
no.
years. But people still doing the Dirty Bird now. It's
That's
like
the only dance that you see
Yeah.
now. That's a touchdown dance.
Yep.
Really?
The opposing team and the damn home team do
Well,
it.
I can't say that because Billy White Shoe Johnson, he
Yes,
would
he
dance
did.
his butt off in the end zone. You can see those
White
kind of dances still.
Billy White Shoes start. If there would be no Deion Sanders dance if Billy
That's
White
true.
Shoes didn't.
That's true.
Right.
Mhm.
But
That's true.
but if you think about it, y'all, Big Low's enemy, OJ Santiago, actually started the Dirty Bird. He actually
Yeah.
did the first official Dirty Bird against the Patriots.
He did.
And
He did.
you think about that, and its longevity, man. That Dirty Bird had stuck around. Jamal made Atlanta. It was a tick less than what Vic did with the excitement here, but that Dirty Bird here in Atlanta, oh my goodness,
Man, that city went crazy the
City
entire
went
year.
crazy,
Never seen nothing like it.
True.
crazy. Berto,
Hey,
did you
Yes,
Nacho
sir.
Rodriguez. Nacho Rodriguez said Eric Dickerson in 1993. That was the worst signing in Atlanta Falcon history other than Ray Edwards.
What about
next,
Steven
next
Jackson?
to, yeah,
Oof.
Ray Edwards was the worst.
Yeah.
Eric Dickerson was right behind. Maybe him and Steven Jackson might.
Yeah, I was about to say, what about Steven
But
Jackson?
I give Steven Jackson a little bit more, a little bit more leeway because he actually played.
Yeah.
But Eric Dickerson, he didn't play number 4 games and like 20 carries. Traded to Green Bay, couldn't pass the physical, so he had to retire.
He actually played Steven Jackson in
What was that?
There was a run he did. We were at the game, and Big Low, I don't know if you remember this. He broke out, and I want to say that might have been Tampa Bay. He broke out of the camp. He broke through the line, got through the linebackers, and was on the sideline. Man, that might have took 7 seconds for him to get 30 yards.
I remember that.
And they
He was
hawked
supposed to be
him
gone.
down.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that. And he was out of shape. He had done picked up. Eric Dickerson, in his prime, he was probably about 215, 220. When he got to Atlanta, he was 235.
Damn.
Bro, that was horrible. But going back. Ironhead Hayward. I'm gonna tell you something, man. God bless Ironhead because he had a really good year for us.
Yeah.
When he came, and
1,000-yard rusher.
1,000-yard rusher. That was the year I think we did we were the first team in NFL history to have a
95
passer,
Yeah.
3,000-yard receivers, and 1,000-yard rusher.
Was that 94 or 95?
95.
It was. It was not. I can tell you it was 94. It was 94 because they wore those throwback uniforms about 3 or 4 times that year.
Okay.
Yeah, because they had. It was Bertie Manuel.
Metcalf, Haynes, and who else was wide receiver?
No, it was Mathis, Bertie Manuel, and was it Andre Rison?
No, Andre
he was gone by then.
Andre wasn't.
It was Mathis, Bertie Manuel.
You sure that wasn't Haynes?
No,
or was he gone?
I think it was just Metcalf.
Okay, it was 3 of them.
Yeah, it was Metcalf, Bertie Manuel, and Terrence Mathis.
Okay, all right, that was 3. Aaron Head was
Jeff George was the quarterback.
Right. Yeah,
Waste of talent.
That's right. Trying to go down this list. Berto, did you give us yours?
Not yet, but I'll give you it. Warwick Dunn and Michael Turner for sure.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Bubba Bean, man. Come on.
I don't even know who that is.
Put some respect on Bubba's name.
At Texas A&M, he was a beast.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
In Texas A&M, he was a beast, but when he got to Atlanta,
he fumbled the ball every other time. Bubba couldn't hold on to the ball.
Bubba couldn't hold on to the bean.
Yeah, his beans were overcooked by the time he got to Atlanta.
Who you got, Smitty?
For
running back.
Oh, I said Turner and Riggs.
Oh, you got Turner and Riggs. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, so I didn't give mine. Favorite Atlanta Falcon of all time is William Andrews. And don't get me wrong again. I know we date ourselves by where we were when we were younger as far as these players, but nobody stopped back in the late 70s.
And that dude, he could catch like a tight end.
Yeah.
Before he got his injury, William Andrews was the most unstoppable runner in football.
Yes.
And really, again, another moment where we start talking about Atlanta in 2016. I still think the Atlanta Falcons 1980 team, to me, was the best. And I know we went to the Super Bowl in 98. I still think that was the best collection of players on a team in 1980 when we started talking.
JJ the Great said that was 1995. I knew it was one of those seasons.
Yeah. With William Andrews, Lynn Kane, Junior Miller.
They had a good team that year.
The Grit Splits were still around. And William Andrews was just that.
And I got to ask you this, I know you just a little bit older than me, but when you talk about the Grit Splits, why don't they get their recognition? I know they didn't average that but like 8 or 9 points a game, but they didn't give up nothing but about 9 or 10 for the whole season.
Gotta win. You can't be 7-7 and expect to get recognition. And that was the only thing that hurt us that particular year. I think Atlanta did not. If I remember correctly that year, I don't think we gave up more than, I think it was 20. Might have been 21 game where we might have gave up 23. But that defense in 77, that defense in 77 was unstoppable. We couldn't score. Kind of sounds familiar. 2023. But 2022. But we couldn't score to save our life. Steve Bartkowski did not have William Andrews back there in the back. He had Alfred Jenkins, but he wasn't getting protected too. I mean, he was getting sacked. Bartkowski was getting sacked.
Yeah, you saw it in that Dallas game in the second half.
Oh, bro.
He couldn't stop an old lady from crossing the street.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's the reason why I think that that particular team doesn't go down in history as great as it was. Now, it's funny you say that. You know, they have the little specials on NFL Network, top 10.
Yeah, I saw it. That's why it
They
came to
gave
mind.
Atlanta
Yeah,
a top 10 position
defense.
for
Yeah,
that defense.
Yeah.
But back then, you only showed so many games a week, and Atlanta wasn't one of them. Nobody realized how great they were, how great Jerry Glanville, if he's not forever remembered for anything else, that cat could coach some defense.
yeah, he brought it to that 1991 team too, though.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
So,
did. Swagger and everything.
And what's crazy, a lot of people don't notice this because I guess they don't study football. But the Falcons have, for the most part, always ran a 3-4. Just go back and look at, the roster, the way they set up. And if you look at games, when you see the lineup, you see 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
So they've always ran a 3-4. And maybe they get back to those early Falcon days, which I think they will, which is why I think the Falcons may get another power back, could get a speed back, or they could get a mix of both. So this could be the season.
I apologize, man. Our brother ATL Georgia Faithful is in the house.
Sean Jefferson.
Yeah, and Sean Jefferson. I look, he was all we had.
Yeah.
Jack City. He all we got. That was all we had.
And Terrence Mathis, he said one of the best receivers that he played with was Tony Martin when he was here.
Oh yeah.
Tony Martin.
Oh yeah.
So so he said Tony Martin, he practices in like no other to prepare for a game. So
Travis says honorable mention to Devontae Freeman, considering where he was drafted. I know my brother Tidy is listening as we talking about it right now. I think the first time he and I ever locked horns when he was trying to tell me the greatness of Devontae Freeman. And don't get me wrong.
Why he didn't tell you the greatness of Tony Smith?
Tony Smith.
see what I mean?
Well,
I know what name I give Devontae Freeman though, don't you?
What that?
Don't block, get it. Don't block, get it.
It is so funny.
Oh man,
that is his legacy, though. That's his legacy.
Yeah.
If you think about what Devontae did, Devontae was a 5th round pick from that national championship team. He came in when Steven Jackson was supposed to be the guy. Yeah, and if you remember, he did end up getting a lot more carries near the end of the year. I went to my son and I went to that New Orleans game in 2014 when all the teams, kind of similar to the South this year, all the teams were losing teams. And it was like a round robin. We had to play New Orleans. And if y'all remember the game that, what's our guy from the Giants, defensive guy?
Oh, OC, when he returned the fumble.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That particular game, Devontae Freeman, I think, ran for 100. I could be wrong, but I think he ran for 100 yards that day and pretty much solidified himself going into the next season as the running back until they drafted Coleman. But give Freeman credit, man. During that Super Bowl run, he was really legit.
He was.
But I just think he didn't give it to us enough.
To this day, though, I still say we should have kept Tevin Coleman. And now I dream of it ever since, and you ever come my way.
And that's why he's the lead vocalist.
Thank you.
You're an idiot. Oh man.
That's crazy, man.
That's where you need a Social Security check, man.
Oh man.
He stole my thunder. Oh man.
Hey, you got to top that one though.
Hey, man. Look, we got the last position to go before we talk. End up this on the current status.
Do your thing.
The quarterback go.
Oh shit.
Just one.
The quarterback go, and really,
just one.
Yeah, you only get one. Come on, man. The quarterback GOAT, and don't let your personal feelings get into it.
Matt Ryan.
But who is
Matt
the
Ryan.
top quarterback in Atlanta Falcons history?
Matt Ryan.
And I think that, man. You have personal feelings, let it go. Smitty says Matt Ryan. Smitty.
Hey, man, come on now. His arm was always a chicken tender. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Alberto, why are you talking through me? No. No, it's not. You got to say somebody for real. All right, so.
Man.
Oh,
man. Oh, y'all are crazy, man.
So here's the truth. Okay. Can we have a consistent, because everybody's coming down the list except somebody, Jay Black says Chris Chandler, which I'm sure is a joke. But let's go down the list. So we all agree, all four of us agree Matt Ryan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't get involved in this conversation.
Let's do this.
Here we go.
Why
Who's the second best quarterback?
Steve Bartkowski.
I'm gonna start with you, Lo.
I can't participate in this. I got a conflict of interest.
Where do you come up with this shit?
Because he tried out for the team. I get that what he's saying.
All right, that's what I'm saying. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't really.
Oh man.
So who's your
Bartkowski for me?
The second best quarterback
Bartkowski.
in Falcons history.
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, I hear you.
Bartkowski.
I disagree with you, but I hear you. Go ahead. Who did you say, Smitty?
Bartkowski.
Yeah, that's gotta be it for me. And Berto, I know you didn't see him during your day, but give your honest answer because you.
I saw Chandler towards the tail end, and I was introduced to Vic, so it's got to be Vic for me for number 2.
Okay.
I got a crazy question for y'all, and just don't look at me sideways when I say this. Should you even put Mike Vick ahead of Chris Miller if you look at the stats and what they did? Because he went to a playoff game too.
Yeah, he went to 1 though. Vic went to
2 because they made to the division, right?
And won 2 playoff games.
Yeah,
but see, the thing is though, it's like we were saying earlier. It's like I'm not going off of statistics. I'm going off of who represented the Falcons and whatever I think about that position.
Mm-hmm.
Who represents the Falcons the best. Steve Bartkowski, great quarterback for the Falcons. Look, if we go off of that, we can all agree that Brett Favre had more career numbers. He ain't have none for the Falcons, but
right
now one thing that I would give Mike Vick over those guys is he did not have the weapons any of those other quarterbacks had.
This is true.
That's true.
He was. Maybe that's why the similarities to Lamar Jackson are so close because he really didn't have. Yeah. And similar to here, we had a nice running game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
With DVD.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the help. I see a couple of votes for Bartkowski and a couple of votes for Vic. And really, I can understand the love for Vic too. Vic would be number 3 for me. But you can't deny what Vic
he brought
to this franchise. Just a rebirth, if you will. We were only 3 years removed from going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Went through that dead period, and there was a point, fellas, where Michael Vick had us on 3 to 4 national games a year.
Yeah.
Whether people want to admit it or not, whether people want to have their own personal whatever about Michael
TV exposure
Vick,
for sure.
Say what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He added life to this franchise. And I'm not talking about just the commercials and the whatever.
And another thing, we've had 2 of the most, how should I say it, electrifying, most controversial players of all time. You talk about Dion and Vic. When you turn on the TV and watch those guys, you could not get up and go take a pee. You could not go get up and get no boneless wings or nothing because you knew something crazy was about to happen. So Atlanta has had those two players. Can you name another team that had at least one? I wouldn't even say Jerry Rice had that kind of impact. Megatron, none of those guys. When you talk about electrifying, that means bringing butts to the seats. No matter if it's at home or on the road, you can't say that about any other players but those two.
In fairness, Jerry, I'm sorry, Lo. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Devin Hester, man. Anytime he touched the ball back there, it was, you didn't know. It could have been a house call with him.
But you only got it like 5 times if you're talking about kickoff slash.
Yeah.
When you think, I mean, I'm not arguing he wasn't excited,
no.
but I hear what you say. What were you about to say, Lo? Before I cut you off?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, Randy Moss, he was one of those guys, and Jefferson has turned into one of those guys too.
Yeah.
Your argument against Jerry Rice, the only disadvantage Jerry Rice had, they were already a Super Bowl team before Rice got
it. Right.
So it's not fair. But when Jerry Rice did get there, he was
unstoppable. Yeah.
You didn't talk about well, you still talk about Montana, but every other person took a back seat. Dwight Clark, Roger Craig, Freddie Solomon, Ronnie Lott. Everybody took a back seat.
John Taylor, to his defense, for what he did up under Jerry Rice, he could have been a Hall of Famer too. He doesn't have the numbers that a Hall of Fame receiver had, but you look at his impact up under Jerry Rice, he was just as good.
Hey, you know what? Smitty, we talk about the quarterback. You talk about Michael Vick, like not having weapons like Lamar Jackson did. It's almost like he was singing that Karen White song, Uncle Steve.
It's Superwoman.
I'm not your super quarterback.
Why you gotta give me the female song?
I'm not the kind of player you can let down. Say that everything's on. Coach, I am only.
Oh man.
That's kind of stuff we breaking up fruit, man. You give me the female song.
Hey, he trying to make a solid case.
Now, Atlanta Falcons life comes with he had a good point. He said it kind of depends. It depends on your era. I'm trying to go back to the comment.
Yeah.
Right here when he comes, it depends on your era as a fan, and he's absolutely right. This is why I give Steve Balkowski a smidge over Michael Vick. He went to the playoffs 3 times during 78, 80, and then the little strike year where they had the fake players come in. And during that time, and especially after 78, he was really one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Just
kept getting injured.
Nobody threw a long ball except Doug Williams. Nobody threw a deep ball better than
they didn't call him the golden arm for no reason.
Oh yeah, he came with high, but he did come with high expectations. I'll say that. Number one overall.
Well, he was the number 1 overall pick, right?
Yep, out of California, absolutely.
Yeah, 75, I think it was. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
and he he'll never get his due as that guy, because obviously football didn't have exposure that they have now, but he was actually somebody really good. Kelly brings out a good point, said the Georgia Dome sounded a lot different when Vic was there. I tell everybody, and Lo, I think I mentioned this to you one time before, and you know what I'm talking about. Like when you're sitting in the stadium back when Vic was there, no one had seat etiquette. So, because if Vic went back and he attempted to go forward, you see the domino rolls of everybody getting up out of their seats when he.
But see, that's what I'm saying, man. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Am I lying, Lo? I mean, anybody in front of you, you might as well go. If you went to a Vic Falcon game, you were gonna get up, and because he was that exciting, and whether people want to, like him for whatever personal reasons or not, you can't deny what he brought to this team and what he brought to this franchise. Now, we were able to transfer a little bit of that towards the Matt Ryan era, at least some of the fandom. You got to give credit where credit is due. Look,
Yeah,
you're a rookie
that's where it came
quarterback.
from. Yeah.
You are a rookie quarterback coming into a franchise in disarray. Little bitty Alberto was wearing a Joey Harrington jersey just in 2007.
Yeah.
He was wearing a Joey Harrington jersey.
Hey! I thought it was Byron Leftwich.
It was both of them. It was both of them. Harrington started the season.
Man.
They put. I'm gonna tell you the
game.
game. Byron Leftwich, his debut for the Falcons. I went to that game. It was against the New York Giants. They put him in that game thinking, well, we losing anyway. Let's try this, and it got worse. So, but that particular year, think about what that year was for a Falcon fan. Matter of fact, what's my boy name? Bobby Petrino ran out on the team.
Oh man,
3 games in. So if you were a Falcon fan that particular year going into 2008, you had zero reason to think that you would even be sniffing playoffs for the next 2-3 years. And we ran off 5 straight winning seasons.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan has a lot to do with
And
that.
And he threw that long touchdown pass his very first game. You knew he was that dude.
Yes. Yeah. And you can't deny that. That's why Matt it should be a unanimous number 1 in my opinion, because all the other quarterbacks that we just finished talking about, you know, from Mike Vick to Bart to Chris Miller, Chris Chandler to Felipe, none of them brought the fire to this franchise.
Oh my God.
So, but Matt, like I said, the first 10 years were gold.
Yeah.
Really 9. The first 9 years were gold, if you think about it. We go back and look. We complain a lot about Matt, and we kind of should. We complain a lot, but those first 08 to 12, and then
08 to about 15.
16, 17, 15, they were 8-8. So, for a franchise that doesn't win a lot, that's
it was one of the first times you could watch a game. You could go to the game knowing that you had a chance to win.
Yes.
For an extended period of time. It was one of the first times that, we were in that situation, and it felt good.
ATL GA Faithful says, "Wish I could have been in the dome when we smacked Green Bay." And I'm gonna give the floor to Low real quick. And I know my boy Tidy, we wax poetic about this, and I don't care because this probably was the pinnacle home game ever for the Falcons.
You did the blowout before the Super Bowl.
That feeling, Low,
the championship game.
What was that? What was that personal feeling for you at that game, man? What was that? Because it's. Yeah, I'm gonna let you tell yours. Because it's different for different people, but leading up to that, we had just been disappointed 4 years ago against Frisco. A game we probably should have won. That should have been
21-0. Another
should have
3 touchdown lead. But go ahead.
Interference last play.
Exactly. All day long.
But Uncle Steve, it's like that Green Bay game and that Seattle game. You heard me talk about that Seattle game.
Yes. Oh.
I feel like it was louder. I feel like it was louder that Seattle game. I bet
that game was off the chain, man.
When we got that safety,
I will say that year, that playoff run, that safety, the place came unglued. But as soon as you finish, I'm gonna tell you the moment they stopped. But that particular play in Seattle, when he fell down, and we were, Seattle had jumped in, I think it was 10-7 at the time. And they he really tripped over the line.
Yeah, somebody stepped on his foot.
That place was shaking.
It was shaking.
The
Like the
dome
whole,
was shaking.
it was shaking. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was legit scared. I was like, this place finna come unglued. And like, and you know, it's like I'm the big guy. It's like people grab me from all over the place. Like one person had his hand around my neck. People just
Damn.
grabbed me. I mean, it was crazy, man. But I've been tell you though, Uncle Steve, whenever the next touchdown that we scored, whenever Matt Ryan threw the wheel route to
Yes.
Tevin Coleman,
Kevin Coleman.
and we
Ryan
got the
Leaf and them
MVP
lines up.
chance, we were chanting MVP.
Yes.
I never thought I would hear that. I never thought that I would hear that in the dome ever. It's like you hear MVP chants whenever you watch NBC Sunday night game.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? You hear that all the time, but I never thought I would have heard that in the dome. And I was like, man, it's like it finally happened. It finally
Hey, and
happened.
I'm gonna be real with you though. Before y'all go on, if Lamar Jackson comes here, we will probably hear that again.
I hope so. I hope so.
Possibility.
I'm gonna go back real quick to the Green Bay game.
Yeah, Green Bay. Yeah,
Again, because of
That was the shit, man.
you almost wished it was a little closer, but then if you're a Falcon fan, no, you didn't.
You didn't
Because you were getting to exercise all the demons
exactly
of years
2009.
past
yeah.
in that game.
But
Am I
the
right?
crazy thing is though, is that it wasn't even like, let's be honest. It's like after that first half, after that first quarter, it wasn't a game. It was a culmination ceremony.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Pretty much.
It's
Pretty
like
much.
it's like
Pretty
after
much.
that first quarter, it turned into going to, hey, let's hope we hoping that we win. It turned from that to a celebration,
Yep.
saying, hey, we going to the Super Bowl, y'all.
Right after that Ricardo Allen's interception, I was like, wait a
Yes.
minute. That
It turned
deep
into
middle
a
interception,
culmination.
it's a wrap.
This is the moment I'm going to disagree with you. There were actually two, but I think this one, the Julio touchdown right after Green Bay went 3 and out. The one that he
That put
caught,
them up
he
21
went
nothing.
down, they went up 31-0.
31 nothing, right?
That moment of seeing Green Bay fans get up with 13 minutes left in the third quarter and going home was so gratifying.
So great
to see. Because by the fourth quarter, it was a Falcon party. I can't even remember a lot of what happened in the last 2 quarters. I remember, but I don't remember because it was over. But the play that shook the dome when Matt Ryan scrambled and scored that touchdown. Because if you remember, we had thrown the ball. He had thrown the ball a couple of times to get inside. But when he scored that touchdown and slammed that ball, you talk about not only shaking, that MVP chant was
crazy,
deafening.
It was crazy.
It was crazy loud.
And it was almost like a white person getting the electric slide down at the barbecue. You could tell that he felt like you could tell that he was like, hey y'all, I'm home. Like, look, we here,
all
y'all.
my white
We
friends
going
who
to the
can
Super
dance.
Bowl.
I'm not talking. This is courtesy of Big Low Country.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Shit. Oh man.
No, it was. You're right.
But you can tell like the monkey kind of. You can tell he like it just came off of. Yeah, you know, it was like, man, that was crazy.
You don't get a moment like that. I had the pleasure of being with my son that day, and to this day, we still talk about that like it happened yesterday. So that's why I envy the New Englands of the world, the Kansas Cities of the world that get a chance to do. That's the closest we've come to having that. So even the one in Minnesota where we went to the Super Bowl, we didn't get the opportunity because obviously it was away, and it would have been lovely to be up there then. but to be amongst our people, to be in the house with your people. And remember, we weren't even supposed to be there because Dallas lost to Green Bay.
Right.
Yep.
We were supposed to go to Dallas.
They're
Dallas,
supposed to be
yeah.
going to Dallas. Everybody was saying that Dallas was going to win.
Yeah.
And I remember, and you know how
Oh,
they do
man.
with the tickets. Remember how they do, like, you know, you have to make them money decisions because that Seattle ticket was pretty expensive. And I was like, do I let them take this money out for the ticket?
Man.
Yeah.
But you did, man, and that's one of the reasons why when you start wrapping up, when you talk about Matt Ryan as the greatest quarterback in franchise history, that particular game and that particular moment, really that whole game, 4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
No interceptions,
Perfect, man.
running touchdown. You couldn't. Matt Ryan, to this day, I bet you if you ask him what was his greatest moment in his career, I would be totally surprised if he said that game was the pinnacle of his professional career.
I'll say this, man. It was the best 2 weeks of my life right there.
Yeah.
As a Falcon fan, man.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
people are chiming in on that.
We need that back.
For ATL Faithful says for a Dome's finale, what a game. Facebook.
I was
says,
at that Dome finale, yeah.
Yeah.
The New Orleans game, yeah.
I still watch that game and get goosebumps. Atlanta Falcons Life said the Seattle game was the best I've ever been to, point blank. Facebook user agrees with me for it was when Matt scored and spiked the ball. You could just see he wanted it. ATL Faithful said, for the white guys, right, he said, you ain't right, Lo. You ain't right.
You know it's all love, Ho.
You ain't right.
You know it's all love, fam.
You all right with me, brother.
ATL, look, DC know what time it is.
DC say he going to Steve's party. He ain't gonna. Lisa said she, and I know Lisa was there.
You know Lisa was there. Shouts out
Lisa.
There's
a euphoria that comes with winning. I love and I want it back.
Yes.
Let's go 2023.
Yes.
And while we're talking about that, and you guys have been so great, I'm gonna go around one good time while we so we can wrap this up because I know I smell some Jiffy cornbread in somebody's screen. I don't know. Somebody
you sure it ain't fried catfish?
If it was spinning, we wouldn't be seeing it. You know, he put it on. He put the screen on mute, so you know. Man, man don't even want us to see him cook his catfish.
I don't know. I ain't made
that
no
thing was
catfish.
sizzling, boy.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Sound like you had about 4 or 5 pieces in the pan at the same time.
Catfish, though, man.
No, we just joking, man. It was actually sausage from jambalaya.
Kelly said we need these conversations about the older Falcon players. So many young fans may not know about them. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like. And I thought this was just an opportunity since we were talking about, you know, milestones and things like that to kind of go back. Every now and then, Kelly, you're absolutely right. I think for those who have been unfortunate to just have the last 5 years be like maybe the most they've kind of invested in the Falcons, there were good times, and there have been good times in this franchise history. No, we don't have the chip yet, but there were some moments in.
But 1984 to 1990 had to be the worst 7th season in Falcon history.
Yeah,
point blank.
It was garbage. Yeah, we didn't do it. Matter of fact, the strike year when we had when they, I think we only played 9 games.
I think it was 8 or 9.
8 or 9 games that year. We didn't make the playoffs then, and correct me if I'm wrong. Was the next one? Was that the Too Legit to Quit year? Was that the next playoff?
No, 91.
Yeah, that was it. The Too Legit to Quit.
91. Right.
Yeah, 91. So you're talking about a stretch. We're embarking upon reaching that stretch, and let's hope that we don't, we don't do that again. ATL GA Faithful says, "Hey, I was the one at the barbecue that hit the slide
That's
perfect."
right.
See,
That's right.
see,
That's
you
right.
know what it is, GA.
Yeah.
Low jealous because he can't. Ever since that nagging hamstring, he can't do them dances like he used to.
Oh, damn.
He can't do them dances. That's why I question his leadership in Southern Silk. Because
Can he do
you're
the?
gonna
Can he
have
do?
somebody up there dancing. I mean,
Can he do it? Can he do the running man though?
he can't even do the limping man. What you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Oh
Damn.
man. Look,
What?
David, nobody's bigger than the group.
There you
Nobody's
go.
bigger.
He can't even do that. Fellas,
Oh,
we've reached the 2 weeks since we started the free agency realm, and we are 35 plus 27, 32 days away from the draft. What do you think is going to happen, and what do you want to happen? So you got a wish list and a what you think list. I'm going to start with you, Smitty, and what you think the Falcons are going to do. Just overall, is there another free agent move, or do you think we're going to do something special in the draft? Quick shout out to Giving Game Sports
Giving
Talk.
Game.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Check him out on
GST.
YouTube.
What up, man?
Always good to see y'all. Go over there and give him some love, man.
Yes, sir.
He got some things going on.
Many 95 Norths in here as well, I see.
Many 95 North.
That's my son.
Is that nephew?
Yeah, that's him.
Shout
Hold
out
on.
to Many.
Hold on. Wait a
Shout
minute.
out to the little one.
Who is
You see
Mini
me here, boy?
95 North? Who?
That's my boy. That's
Many
my son.
95 North.
Okay.
How about
Mini.
that, man?
It's all good.
Yes,
Shouts
sir.
out, man.
I told them
He's
they
probably
had
better than the original.
1K.
I don't know. He might be.
They say the remix is always better. I said the remix.
Y'all ain't right.
Hey, I got to ask you this right quick though before I answer. Before I answer, if I start a fight, y'all got my back, right?
Absolutely.
Facts.
Okay, so as
Wait a
far as
minute.
look
Am I
at
going to get hurt?
Oh no, ain't gonna come close to that. Oh, you good?
No, because
Hey, absolutely did.
you see the name on my screen down there. That's all I got to say. But as far as free agency, if I had a choice in free agency, what I would go for, to ensure that I would get a cornerback, a running back, one of the best offensive linemen, I would go Yannick Ngakoue in free agency, to solidify that pass rush. And it still might not be as high as they think. But in the draft, it's pretty tough. And I was talking about this with my cousin earlier. I'm starting to think offensive line or cornerback is the way we go. First of all, and I said this in the video I done the other day, offensive lineman, that left guard has been still the last 6-7 years. You got two players in the draft, Peter Skoronski and Broderick Jones, two versatile offensive linemen that can play guard or tackle. We don't know what's going to happen with Grady Jarrett or Jake Matthews in the next year or two. Let's just be honest about it because of age. You have those guys that can slide right to tackle. Then if you draft Jalen Carter at number 8, that's Grady's replacement probably in a year or two. So it's just so many ways that we can go in the draft. And I'm just here for it. And cornerback, Alberto's guy, don't get naked. Christian Gonzalez, Devon Witherspoon is another one, and is another deep position in the draft. So I just with the draft, I'm just still undecided. I'm telling you, with about 2 to 3 weeks left, I would say about another week and a half, I will probably have my pick in.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Dude, if they hold that card up and Christian Gonzalez gets drafted, I'm gonna come on here and make a special dedication with the blue lights on to Alberto. He's been on this so long.
As long as that light ain't red, you should be straight.
You ain't right, Smitty.
We're gonna have to have some conversations up. We gotta talk.
Cause
Virgil, you don't have
cause
to run the red light. There's no matter for money.
Oh man. There's competition for
man,
lead
you
vocals
stupid.
now. I tell you that.
Oh,
Oh man.
Oh
Crazy.
man.
oh man.
Y'all tripping.
But serious talk, man. I agree with that all day long.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
oh
agree.
no, absolutely.
Mhm.
I can't wait for that. Big shout out to our brother, Coach Andre Davis. What's up, Unc? And everybody just want to get a good DE in for once.
Oh,
I would
yes, sir.
love to see that here in Atlanta.
Facts.
Brother Berto, since we on you, brother, I don't think I need to ask who you want to do in the draft, but I'll ask you anyway. And
Mhm.
are there any moves? Again, I'm probably have to go back to Smitty and ask him what you want to happen.
You
what
asking the
think.
question wrong. We talking to Big Low. You supposed to
Oh,
ask him who he gonna get naked
Yeah.
for.
oh, who got naked for? All right. So
Hey.
we'll go to Low.
Spotlight's on you.
Low.
Oh,
As long as
man.
it's not red ones.
Oh man.
Who
Golly.
are you gonna get? Not nude, but
Oh
naked.
man.
Naked.
Oh man.
What pick is gonna have you say is getting hot in here? Come on, Lo.
well, so it's like looking at how they've approached things, and it sounds like Terry Fontenot is approaching. Look, we're going to take care of the needs with free agency,
Right.
and then we're going to kind of take care of the wants in the draft, right?
Right.
That's kind of how they've been trying to approach it since they gotten here. Last year needed a left guard, so they went and got a left guard. Needed help at middle linebacker. I mean, Kyle Pitts kind of substituted Julio Jones, but I can see them making a couple of more moves during this. I can see them making a couple of more moves during this free agency period. Don't be surprised if whenever we get to the draft, it'll be a best player available situation. I'm gonna tell y'all, like Arthur Smith, I feel like he's trying to build this team and put together a good young nucleus. So, that's something that you won't have to worry about 3 or 4 years from now. But I mean, the more research I've been doing, and I know that he was free falling whenever me and Alberto and Smitty.
Oh hell no!
Hey, I'm just saying.
Oh shit, man!
Oh
I know he
man.
was free falling in our
Oh man,
draft,
that was funny.
but if we're
Oh,
playing
out of my
multiple
field, bro.
fronts,
That
I
mo
mean, Lucas Van Ness,
legendary.
280, long arms. You can play defensive tackle. You can play defensive end. I mean, that might be a move that if you can't get a Yannick Ngakwe, right? But look for them to get a few weapons on the offensive side in this draft. So,
Yeah.
I heard that, they met with Trey Flowers. I've been big on Jameer Gibbs, as in the running back room. There's a rumor about DeAndre Hopkins. So it's like, there's still some moves that
Could happen.
still out there. The thumbs down.
So you don't like that, man.
No, man. Too much compensation, man, for a guy that's
Yeah.
30 years of age, man.
Yeah,
It's too
you got to
much.
rework it if you do.
Oh
get him.
man, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asking for way too much, man. He should be up there with Brandon Cooks when it comes to compensation.
Yeah.
Let me circle back to you, Smitty, real quick because he Low mentioned about Yannick. Have you heard anything about what kind of money he's asking for? Because it's kind of interesting. I would have thought he would have been one of the day one or day two people to come off the board, and we're 2 weeks in. And do you think he's overvaluing his worth, or do you think he's just selectively trying to?
I think he's overvaluing himself because I think he's made no more than 8 to 10 million his entire career. And to be honest, with what the Falcons have right now, he would be more than a rotational player. He probably wouldn't even start. So this is why they probably have backed off. Why would you pay $10 to $12 million for a rotational player when you got young Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone, that can basically do the same thing he can do.
Mm. He's a one-trick pony, man. He's only known for
exactly.
sacks. He's a
exactly.
horrible run stopper. So to a team
Right.
that needs sacks, of course he's going to be intriguing. But 2 weeks in,
He's a situational
really
player, right?
Yeah, he's a situation. The needle's not moving on him. That's probably why he's probably overvaluing himself on the market for sure.
So y'all definitely saying y'all don't think we're not gonna overspend for that edge,
unless that at this point. But revisit that come June, July before training camp, and that number may drop a little bit or significantly. Then they'll probably just, go ahead and add him if he's still available and if he wants to come.
Now, I would be honest with y'all. If we can get his former teammate Josh Allen for a second or third round pick, I would definitely think about that because that would definitely change the game.
But
as far as Yannick,
salary
numbers, Josh Allen,
he's on his rookie. He's on his fifth year.
Yeah, he's still on his rookie deal. So
yeah,
I think this year will probably be around $12 million for his fifth year.
For his fifth year.
I think the most valuable person on the Atlanta Falcons defense is the coach. I think if he can coach these guys and he can, and you said it, Smitty, I heard it on one of your, I'm trying to think, was it one of your shorts or was it the other day when you were on live? Ebiketie and pronounce his name, y'all. I'm not
Kendrick Malone?
No. Now, don't insult me, Alberto. I could say Malone. See,
on your mother.
You trying to see
on your mother.
It's again. I least because they insult me. Like this is
your platform, sir.
Malone. What's the dude from Notre Dame, Smitty?
Ogundeji.
Ogundeji. Okay.
Ade Ogundeji.
Yeah, there we go.
Ogundeji. What in the world?
Ogundeji. Yeah.
See how he disrespect me, man.
Ogundeji.
Unbelievable. Hey, man.
I'm saying. Come on, Alberto.
Hey, like I said, I was.
Hold on, I'll help you up to Steve.
Alone. One of them stuck. That's the one. That's the guy.
Okay, smart behind. Give us your thoughts on what you think is gonna happen and what you want to happen.
Oh man! All right. So what I would like to see happen is go ahead and address that left guard position. There's really no clear-cut starter there. I just don't feel comfortable having Matt Hennessy, the pronounced starter. You can forget about Jalen Mayfield. I mean, Elijah Wilkinson did come in. He solidified that position for some games. But even then, he became, not so reliable with the injuries and whatnot. Dalton Risner is still out there for Denver. He's an excellent run blocker. And in this run-heavy scheme, he would fit ideally. But it could be one of those things where his salary just doesn't meet what we want to pay right now. So
right,
who knows? You know what I mean?
I got a guy in the draft. I just dropped a video about an hour and a half ago that'll come in day 2 or day 3 for the Falcons and just feel right into that spot. But go ahead, Alberto. I'll explain that in a second.
No doubt. So so for that's what I would like to see happen. Explore a left guard position. Right now, you can draft somebody in the draft in the later rounds. Kid out of Alabama, Tyler Steen. I think he could be a potential steal. Freak of an athlete. He just gets overlooked by so many other guys, but he's probably a gem there. At 8, Christian Gonzalez. I'm documented saying this so many times, but seeing how teams are doing their their pickings now in free agency is kind of probably setting their board up, and you can see a team like Detroit possibly take him at 6.
Yep, that's what I had.
Which so it doesn't come out of the question that he can go that high. If that happens, we do need a true defensive end on this defense. And Tyree Wilson, I don't care about his foot situation. He'll heal up and he'll be ripe and ready for training camp and OTAs and all that. That's a guy that Atlanta I think could do so many things with. Seeing as we're going to play that hybrid style, 4-3-3-4 look, he would be the ideal fit for this defense right now. So 1A for me would be, of course, Christian Gonzalez, but the way things are shaking out, Tyree Wilson could be that pick at number 8 for our Falcons.
And a sleeper pick, if he falls far enough, is Keon White. So just keep an eye out for that guy.
Is it just me, Berto, or I'm just Tyree Wilson is just giving me these big Beasley vibes? Because I hear about the speed, I hear about the arms, but why am I just not feeling him? Am I listening to too many people?
No. You kind of want to make your own assessment on that too. Right. So I think maybe the sack numbers are not as sexy as a lot of the guys that are like, we're not going to get 34.5 sacks like a Will Anderson has offered in Alabama. He's half that. He's 17, but it's the way that he's been put in that Texas defense that he was so disruptive. He was a chess piece, moved around all up and down that defensive line. You lined him up as outside as a true defensive end. I seen some footage where he was lined up over the center, and truth be told, with a guy with the length and the power that he possesses, that's disruption all around the playing field. So that's the intriguing part about his game. And I wouldn't be mad if at number 8 we took him for those reasons. I know that Nielsen is a guru or a defensive line whisperer at that, so he can mold him exactly how he wants him to be.
Yep.
So
that would be that Cam Jordan actually.
Yeah, but is playing in the Big 12 kind of also scaring me off in a league where you either have a super wide open offense where you're really not seeing a lot of quality blockers up front like you do in the SEC and the Big Ten. Am I low? Am I overlooking? Not overlooking. Am I underestimating the talent out of the Big 12 when I'm talking about on the line? Because even Skorowski, when I think about at least he's going against Big 10 big boys on the line, I know he's battle tested. I know he's going up against big boys up there.
Yeah.
With Wilson, is it too easy for him to get to these quarterbacks in a league where you're going against Baylor? You
think about like this right here, Unc. It's like everybody's knock on the Big 12 is that it's actually the other way around. Everybody always says there's no defense, right? So if he's standing out in a league or in a division where people are saying there is no defense, that might actually work out to his favor. But it's kind of like what Alberto was saying. It's like they kind of move him around a little bit, just trying to see if they could find the mismatches for him, kind of like they used to do with Reggie White back in the day. Like Reggie White, he would line up against every person.
Yep.
Then he'd be like, okay, this is the weakest link. And, you just go at them all day long. And that's kind of what they did.
Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith did the same thing. Yeah. So, it's like he's kind of the same situation that Van Ness is in, because Van Ness, he's not quote unquote a starter. He was more a rotational guy. But, the thing is that, we kind of got to look at, his pass rush win rate. Like, how often did he win? Like, what was the percentage of times that he did win when he did get a chance to line up, and from what positions? That's what we kind of got to look at.
If you get to that point,
I'll give y'all another right quick. I'll give y'all another former Falcon that this happened to me with. When they drafted Patrick Kearney back in 1997, I didn't know who Patrick Kearney was. When he came out of Virginia, I watched his tape. Well, I was young, but I knew how to watch tape back then. But I was like, who is this guy and where he come from? But when I turned on that tape, man, I seen that motor. I said, oh, he going to be fine. So, rookie season, what does he do? Team up with Keith Burkin. Very next season, he's part of one of the best defenses in the Falcons history. So, I can't never say that about a defensive end anymore. You look at it recently, like Von Miller, he was in the same conference. But what did he do? Number 2, number 3 overall. So, it has more to do with the player, the heart, the ability, and the mindset that they have. They can play in a Division II school and make it to the NFL and still be productive. As long as they have the right mindset and the right attitude to play football. So I think he'll be fine, man. And talk about injuries. Injuries happen to anybody.
That's it.
Yeah.
Injury talk. Yeah. Injuries are gonna happen. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's just a matter. You're
That's
probably more fortunate to. I don't know. In some
Y'all,
cases, some of these injuries end up happening, and they help the player because
you
think
want to know
about
what
Nick.
my favorite
Yeah.
example is, right quick? My favorite example: Frank Gore at Miami had 2 torn ACLs. Get to the league, does it the third time. Still played 17 seasons.
Real quick, while you mentioned him, do you think he's a Hall of Fame player? I'm glad.
I
I'm
think he
glad
has
y'all
the
paused.
numbers.
I'm glad y'all paused.
Borderline. His numbers would get him in, but to me, he's
Yep.
borderline because he's never led the league in rushing.
No,
Never
He
did.
never led the league in rushing touchdowns. So
Those
Yeah.
stats, though.
yeah, but the numbers gonna get him in either way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of
longevity.
Fame.
not
I
on the
think he's a
first
Hall of
ballot.
Fame guy.
Not the
No,
first
Not
ballot.
first ballot,
No.
but I think he's a Hall of Fame guy.
No.
I'm gonna bring this subject up, and again, y'all can't be on a stream without me trying to bring up controversy.
I don't care because
So
I do it best.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. Terry Fontenot talked to the Atlanta media this week about his signings, and I know there's been a little bit of still question about what we're going to do in this quarterback room. You had the signing of Taylor Heineke from the Commanders, who has done an admirable job, but by no means was the outright starter on that team, because if he was, he would still be playing there. I just want to go to real quick what Terry Fontenot had to say. First, I'll go to Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke spoke to the Atlanta media and said they drafted Ritter, quote, they drafted Ritter high last year for a reason. They believe in him for a reason. He showed me some good film last year, and if something unfortunate happens to him, I'll be ready to go. That's kind of been my life for the last 3 years, so it's kind of the same territory. I'll follow that up with Terry Fontenot, what he says about Desmond Ritter. Quote, we've talked a lot about Desmond and how excited we are for him. I know every time we talk to him or reach out to him, he's somewhere working, and that's who he is as a person. If you don't have the intangibles, I don't care how much physical talent you have, it doesn't matter. Both of these players have the intangibles. We know the way they're going to work, the way they're going to compete. We are excited about our quarterback. I'm going to put the question to you three guys. Are we done adding to the quarterback room, or is it these two guys or bust? Start with you, Low.
I mean, they might add a camp body, but I'm gonna tell you, Uncle Steve, is I feel like what they're doing is, and it's actually been pretty smart of Terry Fontenot. They put Desmond Ritter the last 4 games last season. They brought in, they got rid of Marcus Mariota. They brought in a guy who, he's a borderline starter. Almost beat the goat last year. Well, what, a couple years ago.
Couple.
So if they go through this season, and I'm hearing some people say that, like, this thing's trending about Arthur Smith being on the hot seat. I hadn't read the article or whatever, but if they go through this season and they're in the same situation, you heard Arthur Blank say, "Hey, 7-10 isn't part of the plan this year." He said, if we go 7-10 this year, there's going to have to be some changes. So if they go this season and it's another losing season, the Falcons are all in on Caleb Williams. They
Yeah.
think about it. They've made all the trades. They got rid of they got rid of Deion Jones for a draft pick, Calvin Ridley for a potential second round draft pick. Like, they've been accumulating all these draft picks. They're finna make a run at Caleb Williams. They're building the team right now. But if Desmond Ritter comes out and he does what he needs to do, you don't have to worry about it. But you passed on Lamar this year, and they could very
God, why
well
they do that?
make a move,
I
but
don't know.
it's like,
They can
if it's
circle
one of
right
those
back to that.
situations, yeah, they could circle right
Yeah,
back
they
around
could.
to it. But they're just giving Desmond Ritter a chance.
Erdo, let me hear
They
where you
do.
are.
Lo, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Lo, you think that the Falcons will actually risk losing Arthur Smith for Caleb Williams from USC?
What you mean a risk losing them?
Like you mentioned, and it's documented. Like Arthur Blank said that 7-10 is just not going to cut it this year. There will be some changes that need to be made. Arthur Smith might be on the hot seat in that fact. So, does he get the axe if we go 7-10? So, are we going to risk going through another season just to acquire a quarterback of his caliber?
Man,
I mean,
look here, man. Arthur Blank was at Methuselah's 16th birthday party, bro. That man's old, bro. He ain't trying to sit around and wait too much longer.
Okay.
I feel like he's practiced enough patience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's like, I mean, I don't know if they would quote it. I'm sure Arthur Blank. I'm sure he's not sitting in his office right now using 1920 slang. Like, look, that nincompoop goes 7-10.
Nincompoop.
Like, I'm sure he's not sitting somewhere saying that. But you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that if they go 7-10, 6-11, like they're gonna have to look at different things within the organization. I just don't see how they can.
Yeah.
I don't see how they can go 6-11 or 7-10 with this roster and this division. I just don't see it.
Go ahead, Erdo.
So Heineke's brought in. You got $20 million on him. That to me, that's borderline starter money in itself, right there. We have Marcus Mariota for damn near the same amount, so he's gonna definitely go ahead and challenge him. I think this, man. I think draft night's gonna be real interesting. And if Baltimore comes ringing in at number 8, we all know why. I think Atlanta's gonna end up circling back to this Lamar situation. I don't think they're done pursuing him just yet. I think this roster right now is built to what Lamar can. It's in place now for Lamar to succeed for the foreseeable future with the pieces we've acquired. So I think so, man. I think that it's not a done deal yet with Lamar, man. I think we circle back to that during draft night, man.
Yeah, like I said, man. Like I said, man, I would love Caleb Williams because I think he's going to be one of the next hottest things out there. But Big Low put it perfect. If you see them trade the number 8 pick back for another number 1 next year, you already know what time it is. So this year is going to be Ritter or bust. Let's just be real about it. If Ritter's not playing the way he's supposed to be midway through the season, change over to Heineke at that point. Arthur Smith's job is probably on the line. But I just think, this has disaster written all over it. Because why would you bring in a guy that has started that's going to come in and compete for the job when that's why you kept the young quarterback? Exactly. So you got to make it make sense. Yeah. So I think, and what gives Taylor Heineke a little bit more advantage? 30 years old. Not many people talk about that. So he has a little bit more quarterback, a little bit more knowledge of what's going on in the game. So if he starts the season, just do not be surprised.
How old was Marcus Mariota when he came here last
year? 28, I think.
Shit, man.
Hey, listen, that's one of my favorite words too.
Yo, man, I haven't heard that word in forever, man.
Hey, man, when I was young, that was my favorite word. You nincompoop.
Hey.
Oh man,
so, my brother would tell you that was one of my favorite words.
So I just want to go through withdrawal. This for a second. I'm trying to come off the quarterback room. Even if I subscribe to that very sweet fairy tale-ish story that Big Low told us about Ritter being the guy, Ritter or bust. As a Falcon fan, am I satisfied with us going through these motions of let's just see if somebody is capable enough to run this team? I'm gonna tell you why. You just overpaid. I'm sorry, in a couple of cases, you overpaid some guys to come in here. You're filling out the roster like you should. I give Terry full credit for going out and getting those positions. Every position, no one can argue with any move he's made. You know why? Because we need everything. We really do. We need everything.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no position on this squad aside of kicker that we don't need.
Do we really need another tight end though?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna run the ball, I think you're gonna see a lot of a lot of
So
two
you
tight
still got
ends.
Yeah, if
John
Kyle Pitts
Johnson.
didn't get hurt,
Three
if
tight
Kyle
ends
Pitts didn't get
sets.
hurt, you would have seen
You
that
do.
duo, Michael Pruitt and
So
Kyle
let me
Pitts.
circle back right quick. Hold on, Smith. Let me
Okay,
circle
go
back.
ahead.
So when we start talking about being, let's see what happens for Caleb Williams. Let's hypothetically say that's the plan. Let's let these two guys battle it out, and we go 7-10 again, 6-11. One, Arthur Smith doesn't survive that, and two, you're gonna win 5 or 6 games because of the additions you made on this team. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're not gonna be able to get Caleb Williams. You're gonna be just like you are right now. You're gonna be at number 8, hoping and praying you can
Because he
get up
said 7 and 10.
the draft.
Yeah.
So this is where I say, the Lamar thing. Y'all know how I feel. I don't need to say it again. I think an infusion of him would not only work wonders to change this franchise around. I completely think we could be a top 3 team in the NFC. And right now, I'm not worried about the AFC. Let them have their struggle. The easy road to the Super Bowl is in this NFC right now.
Yep.
Because San Francisco, everybody else is going through the motion. Do you really trust Dallas? Philadelphia just lost a lot of people.
Tell you a sleeper team, Detroit. Y'all better watch out.
Dan Campbell is Dan Quinn in disguise. He'll find it. He'll find it.
I think he's the best coach.
Hey, that's
rah quarterback. Rah coaches don't last. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's true.
Rah coaches don't last. He had a great year this year. They will be Detroit again next year. So when you look at the path through the NFC, and especially in the NFC South, where everybody has staked their claim. You talk about New Orleans, they said Derek Carr. You look at Tampa Bay, they said with a straight face, Baker Mayfield. You look at Carolina, who has come up and said that they're gonna draft a rookie quarterback. So with an opportunity to go and get a game-changing quarterback, you're gonna sit to this fan base with a straight face and say the winner of the Ritter Heineke job will be our guy. How do you think that's going to go over with a fan base with the consistent losing we've had over these last years? Fellas, I'm not doubting any of the theories or any
that's where I'm at.
What y'all saying are right. You're saying the right thing. I'm just saying, as a fan, I think I'm old. I'm gonna come to you, Smitty. I think
I'm just pointing up. I'm just pointing up so they'll listen.
Hey, I'm just telling you. As a fan, I want and I deserve more. I hear everybody talking about $100 million in 2024. I don't care about 2024. I care about 2023. Because you know what happened in 2021? Y'all promised me in 2021, don't worry, 2023 will be a gap year. In 2023. It happens every year. We gotta stop pushing things down the line, talking about what we're gonna do later on. I'm at a point right now, gentlemen. I'm at a point right now. If we traded into the top 3 and got Anthony Henderson, I'm telling you, I'd feel better.
Anthony Richardson, you mean?
At Richardson, you know what I mean. Richardson,
Yeah.
Henderson.
So
I would not be surprised at this point.
But
you know,
would,
the only thing I was going to say, this is why the conversation started way back in August and September through that text message. This is why, because it's just time. When the last time we ever, well, other than Matt Ryan, had a quarterback that could beat this team? I wait.
We'll be waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gonna keep waiting. So Arthur Blank basically said it's win now or go home. So how do you win football games?
Mm-hmm.
Put the best talent on the field that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that real quick, and I'm gonna look at my one of my buddies who always answer, Brandon Levy.
Brandon Levy.
Oh, Brandon, that's my dude, man. He always jumping in.
Brandon is cool with me too, but I want to read what Brandon told me. Brandon told me at 3:19 today, a quarterback doesn't make a team.
Shit.
And
look at Patrick Mahomes.
I got much respect for everybody's opinion. I do. But Brandon, you shook me to my core right there, brother. You don't win consistently
without a quarterback.
Going into this year's Super Bowl, half the world was trying to convince us how the 72-sack Philadelphia Eagles were going to baptize, cremate, eradicate something else with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. But a great quarterback on I'll describe it better. A great quarterback on a big, low, hurting hamstring beat Philadelphia in the Super Bowl.
Oh, shit.
Quarterback is the most important position in North American sports.
I'm finna name 5 names right quick.
Go ahead.
Joe Montana, John Elway, Patrick Mahomes. What do they have in common?
They didn't have Desmond Ridder on the bench.
Multiple Super Bowls.
Oh.
So when you say quarterback isn't an important position, just look back over here and see how many quarterbacks have more than one Super Bowl.
And I want to make
that
sure
tell you.
Full credit where credit is due. So Brandon, you my guy, but he put this on here. Brandon said a quarterback doesn't make
before
you
start right quick, I just got to say this. And I'm glad you said that, Uncle Steve. Because as I got on my lie the other day to talk to Alberto Odell, he heard every word.
Oh, I listened to you the other day. The live you did. About John Robinson.
Right. If you're going to have a quarterback that you depend on that you know is not an elite quarterback, you got to put the right weapons around him. Go get you a Bijan Robinson, a game-breaking running back. I know what Tyler Algier did last year, but is he a game breaker? No, he is not. He's a short yardage guy. He's a guy that can wear down the defense. Then you add a guy with speed, power, athleticism, greater short space vision, everything you need in a running back. We just talked about it earlier with Jerry Reeves and William Andrews, same type situation. So why not have that mindset if you're not going to go after Lamar Jackson? Put the right weapons around that man. I know we need to build in the trenches. And if y'all haven't been paying attention, that's exactly what we did in free agency. So to go to the draft and say we only still need trenches, y'all got to wake up, man.
What do you say? People need to, what did it say? The fans say we need to do what, Smitty?
Draft in the trenches. And we have already
hates the trenches.
Say one more time, Smitty. I need to get some rest. Go ahead. Say one more time. We need to do what?
Build in the trenches. And what have we been doing in free agency? What have we been doing in free agency? Who did we resign? Who did we add?
You have.
Yeah.
and Smitty, I've gone on record, and like I said, and no disrespect, because he said when he said the other day, B. John Robinson, I don't think that's the right move. However, if we are going to ride the Desmond Ritter type train, absolutely you better get all the offensive weapons you can get around him because you're going to need all those people to make him better. You're
Yep.
absolutely right. If and one of my main reasons for reading those statements was nowhere in those statements did it say Desmond Ritter is the guy. They said they liked what they added to the quarterback room, but I did not see that. I
Still haven't
still
committed.
think
That's true.
there is
Uncle
something
Steve,
brewing. Go ahead,
think
brother.
about this though. Think about this. We didn't really know what Patrick Mahomes was. He was just hype.
We
But
did
when he
not.
played in that last game of the season against the Denver Broncos, he showed y'all what he can do. I have yet to see Desmond Ritter do that once.
Now
He threw
I
for
want
300 yards in that last game against Denver, and you saw his potential right then and there.
now Unc, I'm finna shake you to your core again
Okay,
because
go ahead, brother.
Shake it off.
What in my mind? Oh, just wanna take you down.
Oh,
Hey, y'all ignorant. Uh,
oh
I'm gonna
uh,
man.
take you to your core again, Unc.
hey, y'all
I
just don't know y'all getting a free concert, so y'all
y'all get a
better
free
enjoy
concert.
this.
Southern Silk tonight.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
Look, man, I think I agree with Brandon Levy because if you look at that Super Bowl, that same Super Bowl we were talking about just happened a couple months ago. Only reason they won the Super Bowl is because of Andy Reid.
I disagree with that
Only reason they
because
won the Super Bowl
the
because of Andy
quarterback
Reid.
is on the field all the time. He's going to send those adjustments to the offensive coordinator and to the coach what he sees on the field.
If
That
you
was all
watch,
Patrick Mahomes. If
if
you
you
look
watch
at
the
what he
Kansas
did with
City
that,
Chiefs,
hold on. If you look at
uh,
what he did with that bum knee the first half, he said, I can't keep running. He almost got hurt. He said, I'm going to have to adjust. I'm going to have to use my arm and my brain. That's what he did the second half. Now, you can say Andy Reid called the play, but at the same time, I'm sure, and I saw it with my own eyes, Patrick Mahomes called a lot of audibles in that second half.
if
They called a
if
lot of the same plays.
if we watch the Chiefs play ball and we really like, if we really look at it, how often does Patrick Mahomes call audibles? If we really look at it, how often do we also see guys just straight wide open, just straight wide open? For example, at the beginning of the season, whenever the Eagles won the Super Bowl and they had Carson Wentz, who everybody was kind of iffy on, and the guy that actually won the Super Bowl, dang, what's the kid's
Nick
name?
Foles.
Nick
Yeah.
Foles. Like, was people knocking the doors down about that particular quarterback room? Nah, Doug Peterson put the guys in
Whoa.
a proper position to win.
I got to stop you right there. You're making a narrative that's not true. Carson Wentz was actually the MVP leader going into the clubhouse before he got hurt in 2017. That
Yep.
now, don't get me wrong.
Uh
Since
huh.
then, he's been straight garbage.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
in 2017, he he was the
The
leader,
man.
the
Yeah.
I remember he
man
had that. He started
before
off
Nick
high.
Foles came in and took over. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, Nick Foles lost the first two games when he came back. And I get where the point you're making, but I didn't want to crush Carson because Carson Wentz doesn't start what were they 11-1, 10-1, or
Yeah,
whatever he
11-1.
started off
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah. He started
If
off high.
if they don't do that, they're not in the playoffs. Remember, they still had the number one seed because Carson had really played. He
He
balled
played. He
out.
was balling. But
Yeah.
before the season, that's what I'm saying. Before the season, was everybody like, this Philadelphia Eagles room is this quarterback room is top notch, top tier. He showed everybody how much of an MVP he was those first few games before he got hurt. And then Nick Foles came and finished the job off. But before the season started, everybody's like, yeah, he's a young quarterback. Hopefully he could do something. They had cautious optimism.
But let me tell you where that came from. Do you remember? I want to say it was 2015, 2014, 2015. He had a season where he had 27 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. I'm talking about Nick Foles. So the problem that happened with that was a shorter season. He was fresh and he was just on fire. He just caught fire at the right time. If that does not happen, they don't win the Super Bowl. They don't beat Tom Brady. So it has more to do with the quarterback and what he sees on the field. And I know the offensive coordinator called the plays, but at the end of the day, adjustments are made by the quarterback. This is what made Joe Montana great. This is what made Peyton Manning great. Even John Elway calling their own plays on the field of audible. Just go back and look.
Go ahead, Berto. I saw your.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Berto.
Say again?
Did I see your mouth moving?
No.
He was saying he wants some pumpkin pie, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Lo. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's like, so we look at the Joe Montanas, we look at the Steve Youngs, we look at the John Elways. These are all-time greats, right?
Exactly.
Now, we don't know if a Desmond Ritter can be an all-time great, right?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. You would see the flashes already. That's what I was saying.
So if we
You
go
see
to the
that Patrick
Cardinals,
Mahomes in one game.
yeah, you go to the Cardinals, and who was the coach?
Andy Reid.
Andy
Reid, yeah.
Andy Reid was the coach. Andy Reid was also the coach for Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb looked like a superstar. He goes to Washington. How did he look? That's the thing.
No, I'm just trying to go with when you say Andy Reid, and all those examples you just named were good, but are you saying when Alex Smith won the division the year prior to Mahomes taking over that he wasn't decent?
Alex Smith was decent.
Or what about Donovan McNabb? Those 3 straight years they went to the NFC Championship.
Yes, and what I'm saying is football is just like life. It's all about the circumstances that you're given to determine how successful you're going to be long term. If Alex Smith,
you started your soliloquy before I was finished with my survey.
Going
back to the other quarterback. So those quarterbacks you just mentioned were under Andy Reid.
Yes.
In 2019, Andy Reid was the coach again.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You're gonna tell me it didn't make a difference who was there? It was Andy Reid.
Yes, it was the perfect situation.
It's not a perfect situation. You have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes who was better than Alex Smith, than Donovan McNabb, and his ability to be. I'm gonna even put it like this: the first year that Kansas City won the Super Bowl, Mahomes didn't have an awesome game.
He did
until the 4th quarter. But I'll ask you this: in the 4th quarter, who was the catalyst to win that game?
Alberto, don't be over there getting mad throwing your cup, man.
I gotta plug in my goddamn tablet.
Can't move my mocha latte is going on the wrong side.
Goddamn.
Just can't eat pumpkin pie and mocha latte at the same time. So what I'm saying, Lo, so you're trying to say it's just Andy Reid. That can't be true. Andy Reid was the bridesmaid during all those circumstances you had until you changed to a higher quality quarterback. And I'm not saying Donovan McNabb and Alex Smith weren't good, but if you're going to sit here with a straight face and tell me that Patrick Mahomes, as a more talented and better quarterback, didn't make the difference between past Andy Reid teams winning the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes with it, you're going to sit there with a straight face and tell me that? Come on.
Because I guarantee you, if you put Patrick Mahomes on his current Atlanta Falcons team, taking it to the next level easily.
Would have won the South. We would have probably got to the NFC Championship. The defense is suspect, but Kansas City is too.
Yeah.
And that level of player can just I'll take another one. And he's been losing the last couple of years because he's never had had it all come together. You could hate Aaron Rodgers if you want to, but Aaron Rodgers has always been relevant because he is the constant on those teams. You have a quarterback that can elevate your team to another level. I'll even say it for Captain America in New England and the little years he had in Tampa, even though the Tampa teams were much more talented. Those teams that he had in New England were not good. He had tight ends that were fourth round and everything before. I think Gronk was first round, but the rest of them, they weren't great.
But what
Edelman wasn't a superstar. Amendola wasn't a great wide receiver.
But they had competitive advantages.
Don't do that. They had a great quarterback.
Come on, they had competitive advantages.
They had a
If he was so good, why was the ball so squishy,
Huh?
If he was so good, why was the ball so squishy?
There's your competitive advantage right there.
If he was so good, why they got drones flying over the practice field? Like, you know, the team was bad, so they tried to figure out ways to make things a little more even.
Deflated ball on you. Okay, we got
it. Hey, you got to make a short out of that. That was funny,
you, man.
That was funny. That fool said it's squishy. Man.
But I hear what you're saying, but Mahomes is a different player. So the reason I just go to that with Atlanta, and trust me, again, I'm hoping Ritter makes me eat every word I've been saying for the last few weeks. I hope he does. I really do. But at the same time, when I see opportunities, how many times have we sat here over the last years on here and said, yeah, in 2016 we could have got, yeah, in 2017 we could have got, yeah, in 2019 we could have. We all do it. Don't lie. We do.
Oh, yeah.
We all do it. Yeah. So my thing is, when this crease of opportunity opens up, and we don't kind of jump and go get it, the best teams take the risk. Sometimes you take the risk. It's safe. You know what, Lo? You're absolutely right. It's safe to do like we've been doing. We're putting parts, we're putting the pieces, we're putting them together. We're going to put them nicely. Put them in a little hole right here. And it's going to be a huge hole at the top of the puzzle. And you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to look around on the floor. Damn, I noticed the puzzle.
Can he put the glue on the puzzle?
And we can't find it. That's my only thing. That's my only thing. I want to believe the slow and steady wins the race. I don't know how much.
Not at this pace, man.
I'm
with you. I'm with you, man.
Yeah, sometimes Porter's got to lose. Sometimes.
I'd rather take the shot and say I missed than to go back 4 years in the future and
saying woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Man, we had a chance. How many of us still say we could have gotten Mahomes?
Yeah. Hey, I done said that 5 times.
Well, I done heard you say it. But God bless you.
With Mahomes be who Mahomes is, that for example, Mahomes wouldn't have had 5,000 yards last year. That would not have happened if he played for the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith. Like, let's be completely honest.
No, Mahomes, he wouldn't have had 5,000 yards, but he would have made the difference that we needed on this team to bring out the rest of those players. That's all I'm saying.
But the thing is, Mahomes didn't become Mahomes until he got with Andy Reid. Mahomes, himself. He didn't know. I
give Andy Reid credit because Andy Reid, he shook the table for that guy. Yeah. He went up to the front office and said, "We need to get this guy no matter what and how we get it."
And everybody felt like they reached. Now, if you would have put Mahomes, if you would have took Mahomes and he would have been with Arthur Smith and this pedestrian defense that's walking, not driving no cars, relying on Pat and Jeff, a whole bunch of button routes, it wouldn't have been the same thing. I'm telling y'all. I mean,
Oh,
They
man.
called him a
and
martyr card. Martyr card defense.
and he wouldn't. The thing he wouldn't have developed. That's all I'm saying. And just like y'all mentioned earlier, this is why the coaching is so important because we're talking about how bringing all these different players in is so important. What we need to be hoping develops the most is Arthur Smith, and he decided that he didn't want to change his play. He didn't want to give up the play calling. What needs to change and what needs to develop the most is this offensive play calling and the offensive plays. That's what needs to develop the most.
That's
Mm.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
Yeah,
That's
because
fair.
they running play like Tecmo Bowl where you just blitz through the middle if you call the wrong play. You seen it a lot of times last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you, brother.
there's a lack of creativity on the offense.
I mean, you seen creativity last year. It was just at the wrong points in the game.
Yeah.
Situational play call. It ain't gonna change until he proves it.
Until
But
he
Jacqueline Craig, man, she says Jeffrey Simmons is available for trade talks. That's gonna goddamn shake some britches.
Whew.
But go ahead. Go ahead,
No. You're all good. I was reading the other. Nacho says next year there will be a more powerful generation of quarterbacks. Among them, Caleb Williams, Drake May,
Shador Sanders.
All
I
of that is
don't.
true, but
Yeah, but you got to go for it now.
you can't see.
Can't wait, man.
It goes back to we've been doing this song and dance for the last 4 years. Wait till next year. We'll have blah, blah, blah. Wait till next year. We'll have a salary cap, blah, blah. Wait till next year. Matt and Julio come off the books, blah, blah, blah. And now this year, before we've even gone to training camp, I see Falcons fans with a straight face talking about next year we'll have $100 million in salary, which is not true. We'll have $100 million in salary cap, and Caleb Williams will be there for us to get, which is not true.
No, if you go by what Arthur Smith saying, Arthur Blank, if you go by what Arthur Blank saying, no more losing season, nowhere in here we get Caleb Williams unless we make a Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes type trade and move up the board from the 20s or wherever we landed all the way up to number 1. Only way it's gonna happen.
It's just like we were saying. So let's say we go 7-10 again. Y'all were saying that we would be in the same situation. Carolina just traded up from 9. They were a spot lower than us, and they had the number 1 pick now. Just like I said, if you continue to build draft capital, I feel like a Caleb Williams has the potential to be better than a Lamar Jackson.
Okay, let's go hypothetical, and I don't want to wish ill on the man. Let's say, for instance, we do the build draft capital route. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams messes up his ACL in November. Mm-hmm. Then what?
What if we pay Lamar Jackson $50 million? He mess up his ACL.
Man, don't count on my good idea.
Man, don't kill it, man.
I didn't tell you to be smart.
Oh man. Hey, beat Low just cut that down with a spade.
Coach Ronnie.
Big Low, so he the best spade player it is, boy.
The difference is, again, as great as we've seen Caleb Williams, as great as we have, I know what we're going to have in Lamar Jackson, injury or not injury. And I also know, contrary to belief, but I've heard so many people, I'm not sure if Lamar Jackson wouldn't fit in this offense. What are you? He
fits in offense.
He's doing the same thing up in Baltimore.
He fits offense.
I literally heard folks say that. So don't get me wrong. I know. Y'all not gonna give up till y'all make me just have these pom poms for real. And I wanna. Y'all not gonna make me give up. Give me a R.
Oh my God. Damn,
y'all gonna make me. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You know what, man? I don't want to go through another year of what if. I don't. And then maybe that's just me. I don't.
No, it's
Hey,
not just you, Unc. I'm with you, man.
hey,
I'm
we all
tired,
get a
man.
year older. We all get a year older. So I
Exactly.
mean, that's all of us.
6 years of this funk, I can't do another season like this, man. No way.
Like Smitty said, that
Can't wait.
period was of 7 years. That was the roughest part. Like we heading
Man,
in
boy,
that direction again.
Right.
Big Low. I don't know exactly how old you is, but I know I was a little bit older than you, and I vividly remember 2-14, 3-13,
Ah,
2-14 again. Just go Google it, and it'll tell you what their record was from 84 to 90. And these Falcon fans always crying about why we not doing this, why we not doing that. If y'all was under Rankin Smith ownership, none of this would be possible.
man, boy, that was tough. That was a
So,
tough period. That was a
so
tough
y'all
period.
just better be thankful, man. That's why I told y'all. Anytime I see them say something stupid on Twitter, I'm just put the word "shut up" in capital letters, and y'all gonna know what it means.
Oh boy.
I do want to say though, like one thing that a lot of people don't realize is like I know a lot of people complained about some of the decisions that Arthur Blank has allowed. We got, in my opinion, the best owner in the NFL.
Hands down, hands down.
You know,
He let the front office work their magic any way they please. No other
exactly.
team does that. The
No.
Them
owner got to
$4
have a
chicken
say
fingers,
so.
them
Right.
$4 chicken fingers on Sundays, they
Clutch.
be here. They be here.
Hey, say what you want to say, because down, there were a lot of people critical of him. Remember the Mike Vick pushing of the wheelchair and all of that stuff, and people. I'm saying to myself, hold on a second. I got an owner. I got an owner that went out and took, and I'm not trying to make this about race or anything. So before y'all come with that in the chat, he went out and drafted the number one draft pick out of Virginia Tech, a black quarterback for this city,
Took a chance
knowing
his
what
very
that
first year.
would do, knowing
Yep.
at that time what that would do for here, what that would do for this city, this environment, and took a chance and did that. I don't think the Smiths would have done that. And I'm not trying to
Nope.
suggest that
And let me tell you
they
why.
they
Let me
feel a
tell
certain
you
way.
why.
Go ahead.
Go to Deion Sanders put it on Instagram about a year and a half ago. I have it on my page. He told the story. They never offered him a contract. People always got that misconstrued. They told him he should go somewhere else if he wanted to win. Out of his own mouth.
You remember the day he got put into the ring. He came on stage when they put him in the ring and said, if Arthur Blank was the owner here, I would have
Yep.
never left.
He would never left. That's
He
what
would have
said.
never left. He said that, and again, all I'm saying is, in Arthur Blank, when you think about the things, cutting the seats down to $10. That's when I snuck in my season ticket, by the way.
Oh, that when you snuck
But
in?
yeah, no,
I slid on in there.
They fought him
Hey,
$10
man,
letter. Shit.
he changed that. He made the
He
areas
advertised.
outside. He made them better for the tailgates.
Yeah.
He colored all the seats red and black. He made an environment for this team that you can, kind of believe in and kind of start some type of momentum and give him
Right.
credit. He had to basically eradicate a whole era of Mike Vick, and we start with Matt Ryan, and for the most part, pretty successful.
Right.
And do what he had to do.
In a minority-run city, might I add.
Absolutely. And you know what he did? Unlike Truist, who ran up to Cobb County and did that,
Built it
he
right
said,
next
you know
door.
what? I'm gonna keep this bad boy in the city because I'm gonna keep these hotels full.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep these people employed here. For all of those people that have the nasty and whatever things to say about Arthur Blank, I got some words that I don't say anymore.
And
I
let's
try
not
not to
forget,
say. But
he
it
owns Atlanta United too, and they won a
Yeah.
championship.
Mhm.
So
man, so when you start talking about owners, we got one of the best. Fellas, y'all have been outstanding. I'm gonna go around the room one time because goodness gracious, I didn't realize how long we've been on. But when you're having fun,
Yeah,
sometimes you
man.
don't realize
We've been rolling all
how
night.
long it is. Before we get and I know we're good. I know Smitty, I think you were gonna try to do. I know my daughter has a volleyball game tomorrow. But I know you were talking about the draft, and I know we touched on it very briefly. Uh, 1 month out, 32 days out. I know you said who we thought about getting, but right now, you're on the clock. 2 minutes left to get the sheet up there. What happens? What happens right now? Atlanta Falcons number 8. What happens?
At number 8, Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia. No way you pass with that kind of talent. I don't care who you are. I don't care what they've done. That's why you pay guys to be locker room leaders. That's why you pay front office guys to do what they need to do to keep a player in line. If he messed that up somehow in the first 2 years, cut ties because he's still on his rookie deal.
Berto, what you got? Number 8 pick, the Atlanta Falcons select.
Get naked.
Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon, and here's why. Atlanta, what they've been doing in free agency has been building so that cornerback is the only position of need that's left on this defense. You got your defensive tackle.
Yeah.
You got your quote unquote pass rusher, because I think Caden Ellis is a very underrated signing for the Falcons. And I'm very intrigued and interested to see how Ryan Nielsen deploys him in this defense. He had a couple injury plagued seasons, but last year had 7 sacks. 7 sacks on this defense would have led this defense in sacks last year, truth be told. So it's going to be interesting how he's deployed. So I think with all the moves said, I think cornerback is the pick at 8, and it's Christian Gonzalez.
Big Low, we cannot pick head coaches, so Andy Reid won't be available. So who are we going to pick? Big Low, Atlanta Falcons select.
Get naked.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, I think I gotta agree with Alberto. You know, if Christian Gonzalez is there, you definitely got to take him. You know, I feel like you got. I know that a lot of people were saying get another defensive lineman, but you bolstered that defensive line already. If you could get 2 lockdown cornerbacks, that gives your whole defense so much more freedom to do so many different things. You could literally just man up on the outsides, and you could run different types of zones and everything, or you could run cover threes, and both of those thirds of the field are taken care of. So combine that with the Jesse Bates, you run cover 3, you're good to go. Everything else underneath is, it's easy money, which allows guys like a Caden Ellis to come in off of blitz. He could blitz from 1 through 9. I've seen the film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Christian Gonzalez is legit that move if he's there.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm going to wrap up this segment by saying at the number 8 pick, the Arizona Cardinals select because the Atlanta Falcons will move to the number 3 slot.
Y'all remember? Hey, y'all remember who said that first when the draft night come? Because I know I said that first.
And with the number 3 pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Will Anderson out of Alabama. I think when you start looking at what Nielsen does, he brings pressure at so many places. I think we're not finished getting free agents on the defensive line. And I think Will Anderson is that special cat that we probably are going to try. I don't think they're going to get a Carolina Panther haul, but I think Arizona is definitely going to look to possibly get maybe a second next year, maybe a second and a fifth or something like that, along with the first. Atlanta's going to make a move. I think Terry has been way too quiet, way too unassuming. I think we make the splash move at number 3. I know people thought I was going to say quarterback. I think you're going to go up and get probably.
And I got to say thank you for that because I gotta thank you for that, because when I said that, they called me all kind of names.
Oh no, that's a smart move. It's a smart move and a safe pick. Will Anderson may have been the best defensive player the last 2 years in the country.
Easy.
Yeah,
and he's one of those. And after seeing what 6 or 7 teams passed up in Micah Parsons 2 years ago when he fell out of the top 10 to the Dallas Cowboys, I think people are saying, "Oh, that's that next guy right there." So let's see if that comes into fruition. I think the Falcons are gonna make that move up. Don't be surprised. I know Smitty had talked about it before, and I probably, that just seems like
it's logical. Yeah,
it's a logical move. It's gonna be defense to me, but it's just a logical move to make.
And shout out to Alberto, because he know I'm insane and I say whatever, but 9 times out of 10, when I say things like that, I've already researched it. I already looked to see how it makes sense, and I just throw it out there. So go ahead,
I know some people like kind of got turned off after the combine because of his 40 number. But one thing that we got to remember is that you don't have to run 40 yards to sack.
Exactly, to get the quarterback. Good point. Hello.
But look at that. Look at that 40-yard split.
40 yards away. That's true.
Look at that 40-yard split.
Yeah.
And 10-yard split. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
think about it. Short space. He's one of the best.
Exactly.
That's all you need to worry about.
He has some of the best hands in this draft. I mean,
you slap your mom if she make that wrong barbecue. I'm telling you.
Doggone right.
Damn.
Doggone right.
Sometimes the measurables, when I see tape of this cat and I see what he does, I look at that game against University of Georgia 2 years ago. And I'm gonna tell you what,
wrecking ball, man.
He might have been the best defensive player on the field. Stetson Bennett got
no doubt about it.
Because of Will Anderson. And he was still great this year.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know. That's where I go. Fellas, let's go around the horn and get you. First of all, again, I know this is supposed to be for just appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate somebody singing.
Oh shoot. Man.
I appreciate you guys. I'm proud to be part of this circle, and I thank you all for just supporting the brother at the end. I'm about to mute all y'all. So I'm giving you all this. I'm gonna turn off the
Oh man,
brother Alberto, tell him where you are, man. And Alberto done went to bed. Didn't he feel like he laid up?
I'm chilling. Hey, listen, I'm being schooled in. I'm listening to these great killers over here talk, man. But before, I'm chilling, man. I'm in my food. I'm in my man cave, man. I'm good, man. I'm listening to this. But hey, truth be told, nah, man, not yet. Truth be told, man, congratulations on 1K, man. Man, appreciate all the work that you put in, man. Great content, like always, man. Always great thoughts and just overall great conversation. Thank you, man. Congratulations, man. But yeah, this is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube, and on Twitter, I'm under RI Falcons, another platform that you can reach me at, man.
Good job. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
No problem, man.
I got to enjoy a good moment with a winning moment with you.
Yes,
so
sir.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Absolutely, man.
And then on the other hand, if you remember, we tried to look up at that game and saw our buddy Big Low up there, but he was surrounded by security. Big Low.
Oh yeah.
We were trying.
Oh man. Yeah.
They wouldn't reach out
to you, man.
Hey, he had all security and the cheerleaders running around in the circuit.
Yep.
Low, tell him where you at, buddy.
Well,
up there with Arthur Blank. That way, yeah. Go ahead, dog.
See, first of all.
Oh man,
that's hilarious.
Here, before you say that,
You just
so
had to be
funny.
the. I'm telling
I
you.
heard that song the other day, and I started laughing. I've never started laughing before I heard that song. And all I could think about you. I heard the other day, I was done. I was like, I never laughed when I heard this.
Yeah, man.
I did that about 2 weeks ago, and my wife was looking at me like, "Is you retarded or something?" You just don't understand.
No, you don't know.
That was hilarious.
Man,
Go ahead,
y'all
Lo.
off the chain. Look, well, first of all, congratulations, Uncle Steve, on getting your 1,000. You know, that's definitely a huge accomplishment. You know, now, you know, you work on getting that monetization, getting this money flowing.
I'm already applying.
Oh, you already? Oh, okay.
It's in
There you
progress,
go.
as y'all remember.
There you go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want you to know I like chili cheese Fritos. Go ahead, man.
Oh, damn.
Look, you might have the Superman chat.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have something special.
Oh, man.
Every time I see one, I used to think about immature things.
Oh, Lenny Williams, man.
Now you out of control.
Oh, man.
Too, man. You out of control.
Man. I got a headache fooling with y'all, man. I
Man.
can't do it with y'all. But look, but seriously, though, congratulations, though. Seriously, you know, that's a huge accomplishment. Positive Atlanta Falcons content creator, you know, that's what it's all about, man. That's
Yes,
what it's
sir.
all about. And you know, moving forward, we're definitely eager to see like how you continue to grow and your creative, you know, your creative content. Because I'm telling you something, you never know what you're gonna get with your videos, which is a great thing. Great thing, definitely. But
yeah.
you know, I'm Big Low Country, lead singer of Southern Silk.
Man, you just took the goddamn mantle from everybody. People.
Oh, man. Now you out of control.
No regards, man. Golly.
My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. We're Southern Silk.
Quote unquote. Look at him, y'all.
We're Southern Silk all together.
Oh, man. Boy, you ignorant.
Oh, man. And Smitty, let's go ahead and get you in. We did have one last member of the group that wasn't able to make it, but he left the group, but he's going to start some new stuff. He's up in Philly now. He's here to join us. Brother Marcus. Marcus, how you doing, brother? Marcus is going to join us.
Please don't go, girl.
As expected, he quit the group. Go
he
ahead.
Quit the group already.
Hey. He pulled the Bobby Brown on us.
Oh, he done Marcus the group, so he all right.
Man.
Oh, man. But hey, I want to say appreciate you always having me on. Congratulations for 1,000, man. We're gonna get you to 2,000, 3,000. We're gonna keep this thing rolling, man. Like he said, man, this is one circle. And we have guys, you know, we put it in daily helping. And shout out to them, they know who they are. I ain't got to call no names. But when you get to 1,000, man, you put in the hard work. Now it's time to start putting what you want to put out there. So like Big Low Country said, man, it's just time to rake in the money, time to reap the benefits of your hard work. And you know, I think we're gonna have to have a discussion about the lead vocalist, man. I just hate to say it. But but
up for debate
again, y'all.
I mean, we can do a contest, like
y'all. Yeah, I'm just joking, man. Y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine. And if y'all now,
you any sorrow.
It's a look away for me. It's like, what's over there? Like what?
Oh man,
that's what Prince used to do. He sang something, turned his head.
Yeah, he showed up, didn't he?
But yeah, man, y'all can find me on Smitty Sports Machine YouTube. Now I download my Tuesday shows with Alberto, put it on Spotify podcast. So y'all can go check it out where y'all can while y'all in the gym, walking, cleaning up, doing whatever y'all need to do. So that's the way another way y'all can catch us. And
Yeah.
I might start writing sooner or later for sportsblog.com, don't know yet. But other than that, man, again, thank y'all. Always having fun on this platform with y'all, man. And we got some surprises coming up with interviews, me and Alberto. We working on some things, man. So y'all just stay tuned.
Man, Alberto next up for the 1K though.
Trying.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
Alberto
yeah,
next up.
Hey, we
I'm
gonna get him
almost
there.
at 600. So yeah, we getting there little by little, man. I appreciate
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, if he get to 1,000, free pumpkin pie for everybody.
Oh, I'm getting.
right.
Boy, I'm gonna be setting those
Ain't
priorities.
nobody
You gotta
Everybody
get
me.
Stop
hating,
Alberto
baby.
apart,
Stop
though.
hating.
You're the only one that don't
Ain't
really
nobody
sing
go
the
eat
parts.
that.
With that one day he had that little orgasm on TV.
Oh,
What he say?
look, man.
What he say?
I banged my foot. That's what
I gotta
happened.
see if I
I'm
can.
gonna stick right to that.
he said, ooh. Oh, yeah, but
I like, man, what's going on over
man,
there?
man,
You loop
I was
that in the
about,
video, you might get to 1,000 quicker.
hey, that'll go viral.
That'll go viral.
You guys got to go back and take a look at that, man. Happened about a month ago.
I said, this YouTube, not OnlyFans.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody in the chat, man. Sometimes,
Man.
don't get me wrong, I got way too many names to mention, man. Just appreciate all of you. A lot of day ones in here who've been with me from the start a couple of years ago when we started this journey, man. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. The content is gonna keep going, man. And until this draft
No doubt.
comes on, we gonna have some more stuff in there. I appreciate everyone here. Thank you guys for real. Love to all you cats, man. You three make this not only fun, but dude, there are times that I just like, dang, man, I just want to jump on the live with y'all and just
hey, man.
chill.
Always welcome,
I feel
man.
relaxed. This is not
Yeah.
work. This is not whatever. This is fun. And when you're doing something that you're not thinking about, it makes it
Fun.
just relaxing and fun.
Right.
And I appreciate each one of you for that. This is the group I have, and again, I gotta say it again. I know he texts me.
It's all bad.
What? What?
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yes, man.
I thought Lo was gonna be the only challenge.
For real, man. I told you, man. That thing is up for debate, bro. Leave both of us. Wait a minute.
Lo, give it Berto gonna be what BBD?
Right here. Oh
man.
Bill DeVoe. Oh man.
But damn. You guys, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us today, man. Long. I'll still be on tomorrow, briefly for the aftermath. So y'all
what
check
time
me
they're
out.
gonna
Y'all
be?
check
So I know.
Berto
What time they're gonna be?
Right?
Tuesday 8.
I'm gonna try to get on at 4:00 tomorrow because like I said again, she got a volleyball game later on. So that's why I wanted to make sure I go for the draft. But I will be paying attention as I normally am to you guys when y'all doing
no doubt.
Till then,
and
Berto,
mail truck with 4 flat tires.
Hey, brother, that's what I'm gonna be. Berto,
yes, sir.
I wish you a mocha latte, Smitty. Smitty, I wish that person that's gonna come up to you and give you problems about your videos. I got your back. Low. We gonna work on massage. We gonna send you with John Harris and get that hamstring massage at that massage parlor he was at. So
I want to go to that massage parlor. I want to
go and watch the special.
I want to go. I
They call it
respectfully
the
decline.
Hey, I just got to say this before I get out of here. I got a perfect skillet downstairs to fry that perm. That's all I got to say.
Oh man.
Oh. And my jersey numbers fit.
Oh damn. Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I'm done. Now I'm done.
Everybody, thank you so much, man. Y'all have a blessed Sunday and have a great week, fellas. I'll catch y'all on next go round. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Y'all take care of yourselves.